Okay, what's up, everybody? And welcome to another wonderful edition of the Thursday afternoon, just before Friday, Monday morning podcast. I'm just checking in on you with a very special guest that I promised, that I teased on Monday. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the incredibly talented Mr. Kevin Bacon.
Are you on the road? I heard you were going to Texas. I think that's what I
Yes,
I
I
heard.
am. This is the final night, 8 nights, 16 shows. I realized how old I am now. Just doing 16 shows indoors would have been hard enough, but like outside, I feel like I've been yelling at a tailgate for a week, week
how's
straight.
how's it been going? I mean, first off, listen, tailgate comedy. Doesn't Texas just say tailgate comedy? That's the place to do it, right?
Yeah, but you don't want to be the only guy talking at the tailgate. I don't mind chiming in and then having a couple of beers when I used to drink, but it's just sort of the first one we did was in Dallas, which was a great venue, but it was more of a music venue, and there was a highway nearby, and it was like Final Approach for like Love Field. There was a lot of stuff going on, but the people have been like just ridiculous. Like the fact that they're going to sit there in the cold under blankets listening to me do my dumb jokes, kind of, it's like I couldn't get too upset with, like, I got frustrated because I want to give them a show. So I got frustrated with a little bit of the distractions on some of them. But like the fact that they were sitting there the way they were on cold grass under blankets, I'm like, all right, well, I can't bitch about this too much. So Dallas was cool. I went to Austin. Austin was crazy. Those people got after it. I thought that they were going to be like super mellow, the liberal town, and it was sort of the
Keep Austin
opposite. Weird. Yeah, they were partying, and then I did one night last night here in Houston, and they were great. They were great. So,
well, good for you, man. I mean, I first off, I think your jokes are anything but dumb, and I think I think that's really cool that you were able to get out there and do your thing.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I got a mortgage, so I got to get it isn't just for love of comedy. Have you gone out and done anything? I know you do the Bacon Brothers stuff.
Yeah, no, we did. We have not. We've not played the Bacon Brothers. Actually, when the pandemic hit, we were actually in the studio. It's so weird to think back on the day that we went into lockdown, whatever it was, March something. We were finishing up the last record. We were doing a bunch of songs in the studio, and it was at that moment before, it was kind of like pre-mask, but you were kind of not quite shaking hands and doing a lot of like hand sanitizer, but we hadn't gone to the mask thing.
Yeah, there was a glove period. People were going to the grocery store with gloves on. I did that.
Right.
You didn't have a mask on or nothing.
We were at that glove period because we had to take the gloves off to play. But it was I haven't really done anything. The only thing I've done is I have gone back to work on this series that I'm doing on Showtime, and that's been really interesting because it's really, really weird to start with because you get to work, your temperature's checked, you go through it, you'll answer a bunch of questions, everybody is in PPE, you're completely, masked up and shields.
You do the quick nose test every time too?
Yeah, we get tested probably, 4 or 5 times a week. For some reason, the testing has shifted a little bit where they're not jamming it all the way up to your brain. Yeah. It's just kind of like a spin around the lower nostril. And my wife said to me the other day, she said, the testers must love you because given the size of your nostrils, you're like a super easy target. I said, thank you so much, honey. That's really sweet of you to point out. And we then at some point after we've rehearsed, we have to take our masks off because it's 1992 and we don't have masks on. And at that moment, that's when it feels just like it used to feel because now I'm acting, I'm doing the thing that I know how to do, I'm talking to actors, the masks are gone, and the cameraman is shooting it, and the boom operator's there, and everything is kind of like, at least for that moment, feels like right and the way it's supposed to be. But
hey, is it weird to do like to be doing a show now, going back in time during a time where you were already working in TV and film? Do you do anything like it wasn't quite like that? Do they go to you to ask them, hey, when you did these, well, I guess it's not about shooting a show, but one of my pet peeves is when I watch something in a period is greetings. Like if I see one more high five in something before the high five existed, or that greeting that came somewhere in the 90s.
I'm with you.
Yeah, it drives me up the wall. It's just like, and plus I love the low five. I miss that.
Yeah, right.
I was watching something on that. I was like, the high five didn't exist then.
No, that's true. I do the same thing. I'm old enough that I don't really remember, and sometimes I'll see a high five or like a hug or something, and I'll go, I don't think that was, but maybe, I don't know. I really remember. The other thing that's kind of about that, and when I was listening to the other day, you were talking about drumming and learning the Zeppelin tune and stuff, which I thought was really fun to listen to. And there's a really great movie now called The Sound of Metal. I don't know if you have a chance to see it yet, but I really would recommend it. And it's about a drummer in a metal band, and he loses his hearing, and it's an incredibly well done and moving movie. The sound design is just, I really recommend it. I have no connection to it. And my son looked at it. My son plays he's a guitar player in a metal band. And when you look at a movie that is like specifically from your world, like if I would look at a movie, like you were mentioning before, of somebody making a movie, I'd go, yeah, that's not right. Oh my, why isn't it doesn't happen that way. And I sort of feel the same way about music, and I'm sure you feel the same way when you look at things that involve drumming and drummers. And I was talking to my son about the movie. He was like, yeah, I really liked it, but why did he have that specific T-shirt? And it was like something that only a metalhead would notice. It's like it was a band that he didn't think that this guy would necessarily like that band on his T-shirt.
Right.
But that's what happens when we watch movies about things that we know intimately.
But that's what makes also something great, is if somebody can pay attention to that level of detail. Like a long time ago, one of the first major acting things I got to do a couple episodes of Breaking Bad, and they prided themselves on the trolls that would be like, it wouldn't happen that way. Like they literally, when we had a scene, it was a pallet of money, and that we laid down on one of those seasons, and they actually broke down the denominations of cash that Mr. White would have and how big it would be. We did a train robbery thing, and they did the math on the chemicals. They were taking out whatever the chemical was to make the meth and then putting water in, how much the density of it. And there was some guy whose job was to sit there and shut down these trolls and be like, no, it's exactly how much it would have been, just for the fun of it.
That's great.
So, yeah, I find that fascinating about movies. And movies can also create something that never happened, or TV. Or they'll get say with Good Will Hunting. Like the amount of people, where are you from? I go, I grew up just south of Boston. And they'll be like, oh yeah, how do you like them apples? And I'm just like, nobody ever said that when I was growing up. That's the Matt Damon joke from Good Will Hunting. Or that movie, Donnie Brasco, which ruined the expression, forget about it. It was so universal. And they just so overly described it. Like to this day, if I slips, because people tease me out of saying it, be like, oh yeah, I went to that steakhouse. Oh man, forget about it. It was unbelievable. And then they go, forget about it. And then everybody just, you feel like an asshole.
Yeah, it ruins it forever. I know. Listen, I know exactly how you feel. And I have to say that, speaking of Boston, for some reason, for whatever reason, I have done a lot of movies in Boston.
Yeah, Black Mask,
And
Mystic River.
Patriots Day, Mystic River, Patriots Day, Mystic River, R.I.P.D., and now this show that I'm doing on Showtime. My wife and I met in Boston doing a thing for WBGBH, and the one thing I know for sure is that I've come to I have a sense of peace about the fact that nobody from Boston is ever going to like my Boston accent,
No,
and that I know I'm completely fine with that. I get it, I get it. And what's really weird about it is that I'm from Philly,
oh,
and Philly has a really specific accent, but nobody does it.
it's
I,
hard.
I, well, it's not that it's hard, but Boston's hard too. I mean, it's not. It's that no, but for some reason, nobody in the movie. Everybody goes to Philly and they talk like this. They're like, hey, what are you doing? Everyone from Philly is from Brooklyn somehow, miraculously,
Right.
and I don't really understand why that is. But I've gotten a chance to do, my own hometown accent, like maybe twice out of every single movie I've done, and people don't even really know that that's what I'm doing. It's like it's a very specific thing that
Yeah.
just for some reason that we don't get respect.
I remember I
Speaking of,
met this woman one time. She was from Philly. She was a beautiful woman and was just hearing that Philly accent like added to her beauty. And I remember she was talking
oh, it
about a
added to
guy
her beauty. Oh, I'm glad to hear
that
that.
added to it. No, because
Oh,
I
I thought
was
you were going to say the opposite. I thought you
no,
were going to
no,
say it was a
it was
buzzkill.
cool because she
Ah.
was trashing somebody and she said something like, "Yeah, he's an asshole." He kind of had that weird way. I'm probably doing it wrong. He's an asshole, and just was like, "What the hell was that?" And then that it was just added like another layer to it. I think Nick Kroll though, he actually got props. I think he does a good Philly and Pittsburgh um, accent, but like
What does he do it in? Because I want to check it out. Or does he do it as
Kroll.
part? Hmm?
He used to do just go on like YouTube. I'm sure the clip is on there. It's Kroll. It was a sketch show, brilliant sketch show that he did on for like 3 seasons on Comedy Central. And they would do a sketch where it was him and one other character. It was a Pittsburgh guy yelling at a Philly guy or something
Oh,
like
okay.
that.
I'll check
And
it out.
everybody
I
was
love Nick
excited
Kroll.
that they
Yeah,
sort of did like a good. I mean, be honest with you, it makes you feel better. People give me crap about my Boston accent if I lay into it a little bit more. Um, but anyway, before we get too far into this, I do want to get into what you're promoting here. This sounds like an amazing show. So here's the promo thing I'm going to read here. Forgive my reading out loud here, but if you listen to the podcast, you're ready for this here. Celebrating the power of music to make a change, a primetime broadcast concert special benefiting the NAACP, Legal Defense and Educational Fund Incorporated, and Why Hunger. Hosted by our podcast guests here today, Kevin Bacon and Eve. It's going to air on CBS on a new date and time, December 15th, 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 Central. And exciting additions to the musical lineup include LL Cool J, DJ Z-Trip, Sarah Bareilles, hope I said that right, Emily King, Pedrito Martinez, special guest Bruce Springsteen, John Legend, and Ringo Starr. I think you got enough of a show there.
well, we also have Machine Gun Kelly and Ziggy Marley and Andre Day and Bon Jovi and Maren Morris and Yola and the High Women and Gary Clark Jr. and the list goes on and on. It's a really amazing group of musicians. I like to say that if you like music, we'll have something for you because we've got rock and folk and soul and rap and reggae and country and I actually was thinking, well, but there's no jazz. But the great John Batiste is doing a cover of "People Get Ready" from the Apollo at the end of the show, and he does a solo that I would definitely classify as jazz, and he's got kind of New Orleans chops. We are decided to do it from 3 different iconic venues. So part of it was shot at the Apollo in New York, and part of it was shot at the Troubadour in L.A. and at the Bluebird Cafe in Nashville, which is a fantastic sort of singer-songwriter venue. And really proud of the show, both for the messaging and for the money that we've raised for these fantastic organizations, but also for the musical side of it, because I know that you play, and I'm sure that you've seen during the pandemic that people have done some sort of collections of music from home, and it's fun and was kind of charming at the beginning to see somebody just with acoustic guitar kind of singing their songs from the living room. Or there's been on the other extreme these very big production numbers with no audience, which can sometimes feel I don't know, a little strange. I think that we've really hit the sweet spot here for these musicians are together and they're playing live and they're having a great time and they're in these really super cool venues, but we're not trying to pretend that there's people there listening to them.
That sounds amazing. That almost reminds me of what was that documentary? It Might Get Loud, and they just had Jack White and The Edge and Jimmy Page, and they were just sitting in a circle. Or like, you ever watch on YouTube? You ever watch that live from Daryl's house, Daryl Hall?
I've been on it.
Oh, you've been on that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was watching one from this morning. One of my, I always forget his name, from James Gang and the Eagles was on it. The guitar player there.
Oh, Joe Walsh?
Joe Walsh.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. They do this version of that, whatever, Life's Been Good to Me So Far. Mm-hmm. And it is just a sonic masterpiece. And just being like, I always call myself, a dad drummer is basically what I am. And there's just something about professional musicians, just listening to them tuning up is so much better than anything I've ever done. And just how they all like lock in. And the fact that you guys are going to all be at the venues, I'm psyched that you're on here to promote this, because this is something with, just being on the road, I might have missed it. And I've been luckily enough to perform at two out of the three of those venues. Survived the Apollo. And
I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did.
Well, I remember doing the gig, and this dude just sitting sideways like this the whole time, getting ready to get up. My whole set. He never left, but he never turned around.
But isn't that a great challenge that you just keep your eye on him and you go, "What? You're still in your seat. You're still in your seat, motherfucker. I got another one. You haven't left yet."
Well, I remember standing in the alley behind there, waiting to go on. And it was taped. It was the summertime. It was August of 2000. So, it was, even though it was like the late afternoon, the sun was still out. And I remember hearing somebody getting booed. Ooh. and going like, I really didn't need to do this. I'm a perfectly good white guy. I could have just stayed in the white guy clubs. Why am I doing this? And what was funny is I had met my future wife like 2 seconds before that, but I was so busy focusing. I met Nia, and her dad was booking it, and he was leading me up the stairs. And I remember he had a look of concern on his face. He's probably reacting to the look on my face. And then of course the Troubadour. I'm a huge music fan and all that. And how have you been able to, with as busy as you are, like throughout the years? I've always been amazed. Like, I've really envied your career as far as all the great work that you've done. You stay out of trouble, which is a hard thing to do now as a comic, it seems. You stay out of trouble, and you're also able to do this music thing with your brother and get involved in these charities, keep the home life together. Like, you seem on paper, you're one of the most sane people in this business. Like, how are you able to do that?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like, I really, really love what I do, and I've worked really hard to be able to keep doing it through the years, right. Because it's something that I still get a tremendous amount of pleasure out of. The time between action and cut is like such a sweet spot for me, and every time, I don't care what kind of piece of shit I'm doing, I still really enjoy, pretending to be another person. In terms of my own personal life, I think I met the right person. People say, why, how do you stay married for so long? And it's a really hard question to ask. On the last record, we had a song called Play, and that I wrote about as sort of as a kind of a wise ass response to that, because everyone says, "Oh boy, it's so much work, isn't it? You got to really work at it. To have a successful marriage, it's got to be a lot of work." And I said, "No, really, to me, it's really about playing. You got to have the play. That's got to be the part of it. Where
Yeah.
you're still able, and that's what I feel with Kira, and I don't know, man. I try to wake up every day with a lot of gratitude for having a roof, having food, having love in my life. A lot of things that a lot of people, certainly during this time, difficult time, don't have. And also for being able to make a living doing what I really, really love to do.
Yeah, that's incredible. I've already been out here. I started late in the game as far as getting married and having kids and all that type of stuff. And it's made the road is it's a really different thing when you have something that you're leaving that you actually want to be still a part of. So thank God for like Zoom and all of that type of stuff. And like, not Zoom, I mean like FaceTime and that thing. Cause I've been able to be out here for as long as I have right now, like 8 days, which is something I usually wouldn't do. I just kind of needed to, like I said, I got bills to pay here. So, but just being able to FaceTime with my kids and to also see, because I remember early on in my career when I should have been, I guess, getting married if I wasn't such a lunatic and having kids. I remember my friends telling me like, man, I went on the road for the week and I came back and like my daughter's face changed and all of a sudden, she's starting to walk and I missed that. So the fact that I get videos and things like that have been,
It's huge.
it
It's
is.
huge. When FaceTime first came out, we used to say, oh, "God bless Steve Jobs." That was like all that was like our mantra. God bless Steve Jobs, because we're we're a couple that and a family really that even though we on the surface look like well they have we're sort of home bodies, we're really vagabonds at our core. Our marriage has been really based on two suitcases being packed and ready to go, and that's been a plus and the minus. I mean, because clearly you're going to be forced to spend some time apart, but it actually has been part of what's kept us together is the fact that we like to be with each other, we like to be home, but we're always kind of ready to go. Okay, I'm going off to work, you're going off to work. And for a long time it made things really complicated when it came to bringing the kids back and forth and stuff like that. But to be able to reconnect with somebody you know once a day or whatever is really great. And if you could do it on FaceTime, even better. And this time has been really strange because, when the pandemic, rolled into town, I immediately flew to LA where she was, and we went into lockdown together and went through, I don't know, probably 4 months or 5 months or whatever, where it was just like the two of us in the same house. And that's something that's never happened in our marriage ever. After 32 years we've been married, we've never spent that much time together ever. And, we don't have a big house out there, but luckily we have, like, she could go into the bedroom and I could go into the living room or something. So like in the course of the day, we would sort of like kind of separate, and then we'd get together and we'd have lunch, and then we'd separate for a while, and then we get back together and we have dinner. A lot of people didn't have that kind of luxury, but it was an adjustment to actually be spending that much time together, and one that we survived, luckily. And now I'm on a show in New York. She's on a show in LA. So she went out to LA. Now we've been separated for the longest period that we've ever been separated in our marriage. So these are two sort of like milestones. I've never been apart from her for this long, and we're getting through that as best we can. So it's interesting that you're just kind of coming to that now. And
Oh, dude, I have a zillion dad questions for you. Like, how did your son find music? Because I love playing, but I don't want to force it on him. But it's like you want to be like, come on, man, you play guitar, I'll play drums. I can jam with my own kid. Would be the greatest thing ever. And she goes kind of through periods of liking drums and playing guitar. But she has a toy guitar. She's really getting into it. So I'm trying not to be that.
How old is she?
She'll be 4 in January.
Well, I don't know if this is too hippy dippy, but I used to play a lot to her belly when she was pregnant. He came out, and one of his first words, or if not his first word, was guitar. And he wanted me to make him little cutout guitars all the time, and I would draw pictures of them, and then you want me to cut them out, and then they would the paper would bend, and he'd get upset. So then I would have to take cardboard and make it stiffer and glue it against the thing, and then eventually he'd break that and he'd cry, and then I'd have to make him another guitar. And I was like constantly making guitars until I could finally get a toy one. And he was really, really obsessed with it. He was not into sports, not into anything with a ball so much. And then he found swords, and like most boys, and then he found guns, and then he found video games, and they got more and more increasingly more violent, and this is a kind of
and real.
Right.
They're unbelievable.
Well, yeah, well, they weren't. So we're talking about he's 32 now. So we're talking about it was an earlier kind of iteration. They weren't as real as they are now. When he was about probably, I'd say, 10, he stopped playing the video game and he picked up the guitar, and I took that video game and put it up in the closet, and he's never played again. He just has been doing music ever since then. So yeah. I can't say that I forced it on him. I mean, yeah, I got him lessons, I got him gear if he wanted. Look, I mean, if somebody wants an instrument, I say get him the instrument. People don't get hurt making music. People making music is a strong and peaceful and powerful thing to do. You can bang the shit out of your drums, and the only thing you risk of hurting is your ears, and I guess when you get to be real old, you can get some tendonitis or whatever.
Yeah, I got a little of that.
Yeah,
I got this one. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a beautiful thing to make music, and we always had gear around, always guitars around, always drums around. I mean, there's always percussion around here right now, and it was just there was access to it, and
there's something really cool on your website for your charity, 6degrees.org, where you kind of use where you are in the world to shine a light on these charities that people just need some attention to. And they were all great causes, and the one that really appealed to me, there was something about helping schools get instruments for their students, and I
went to public school, and we got instruments. Like in Philadelphia, the Philadelphia public school system back in the 50s and 60s, if you wanted to play something, they gave you the trumpet or the flute or the violin or whatever it was, and along with lessons and stuff. And I don't think that really exists anymore. And I think that.
Why do you think that is? Because I live out in Los Angeles, and it's like the public school systems, it's like not even an option. You got all of these people there, paying taxes and all of this type of stuff, like ridiculous level taxes. And, when you go to the public schools, is it because, do you think, I was trying to come up with a theory, I just think raising a kid's a lot more expensive, where, getting your kid ready for school, for the school year, you bought them a new pair of sneakers, couple pairs of pants, some shirts, and then some crayons, pen and pencil, and they were good to go. You didn't have to get them a cell phone and laptops.
Right.
And a laptop is essentially it's like you're buying your kid a new used car.
Yeah.
Every year or two.
Yeah,
so
that's a good point.
Had to be a rich kid.
Yeah, I never thought of that. I think it was also that there was more, I don't know, more funding for that in the public school system. It just seems like, if you're going to cut something, people feel that music and instruments and music in general is something that is on the chopping block pretty quickly.
Yeah, they feel like it's a silly thing. Like it's like I think they almost put it up there. They put it somewhere like in like gym class as
Hmm.
far as level of importance, which is I don't know. That's strange to me. But people listening, if you want, like Kevin has this amazing charity, 6degrees.org, right? I'm saying that right?
Hmm. Yep. Hmm.
And what I like about it is you're not just funneled into this one thing. You had like this wide variety of like whatever you're into, pediatric cancer, all the way to getting instruments for kids. So there's kind of like something there for everybody. But I don't know. Can I ask you another dad question? I got a few of these because
Yeah, yeah, man. Yeah, yeah.
So did you go through like I don't know if this happened to you, but like I find I try to avoid talking about being a parent with most parents because they seem to want to focus gloom and doom on like whatever your kid is, they feel like if their kid's a little bit older, like nothing good is going to happen. And it's always like, oh, you wait. And it's kind of like, well, each kid is different. Just because you're dealing with that doesn't mean that I'm going to deal with it. And how do I know you're even involved? And they'll be like, how old's your kid turning 4? Oh, you wait. The
Yeah,
next year is going to be
yeah.
blah, blah, blah. And you wait till they become teenagers. I would think that there's at some point they're going to act out. And that's like my biggest, I just don't want to go through or try to minimize. I know at some point they got to like test boundaries and, break free of you and everything. I just don't want to go through this period where my kid doesn't feel that they can come to me and be like, all right, look, last night I was at a party and X, Y, and Z was going down. Maybe I did this or I was thinking about doing that and feeling that they can come to me and it's not going to be this, that's it, you're never seeing your friends again and all of that type of stuff. How were you able to navigate those years where all of a sudden it's like, okay, I'm going out with my friends and you're really it's not even you're worried about your kid. You're at the mercy of how did these people raise those kids
Yeah.
that are now driving my kid down the street?
Yeah, that's a good point. I guess I hadn't really thought all about that much, but yeah, that's true. You do think about that. The other people. Well, listen, I totally agree with you that it can be a real bad street to walk down to even raise this topic with people, and people do want to tell you a lot of gloom and doom, and that's when they subjects like, oh, it's the terrible twos. That's going to be. It's like, oh, great. So the entire year that this kid is 2 years old is just going to be a fucking nightmare for me,
Yes.
and it's not true. I mean, it starts with the birth. I mean, if you start talking to people about what childbirth is going to be like, just don't even do it because it's going to
Yeah.
you're just going to be like, no, fuck it, I'm out. This is this is going to be a disaster.
I remember when my kid was cool and wasn't terrible when she was 2.
Yeah.
You know what then they said? They said, oh, that means your next one's going to be a lunatic. If this one's cool, the next one's going to be a lunatic. So my son is 6 months old, and he's
Yeah.
he's he's the best,
Right.
biggest smile, like smiles with his whole face, and
Right.
he's just in a good mood and like loves his older sister, and she loves him and everything. So
You just can't fall into the. You just can't fall into that trap. And this is what I tell people. Whatever it is, and you might even sort of know this already. When you're in some situation, like let's say it's the diaper thing or the toilet training thing or whatever, you're like, oh my God, this is a fucking nightmare. I don't know how, and it feels like it's going to last forever. A lot of these phases feel like they're going to last forever, whatever it happens to be.
Right.
right up through, whatever, partying or bad grades or, whatever stuff that you're talking about down the line with the teenagers. It passes. It's a cliche, but this too shall pass. These
Right.
phases, if you can have some kind of a trust that there's something on the other side of it, that's number one. That's the thing that I try to, you know, try to share with people rather than try to give them a warning that the shit's going to get bad. But the other thing is that the best your kids are going to have secrets from you eventually. They are. If they don't have some secrets from you, then they're not growing up. I mean, I didn't tell my parents everything. Again, I don't want my parents to be my best friend, and I don't want to be my children's best friend. If they have a friend that they can tell their secrets to, then that's great. But we've tried as best we can. And this is really this I feel like we're getting a little too deep, but this has been driven home by my wife. Really, she's been leading the charge on this particular thing, and that is to try as best as possible to keep the lines of communication open, and to be open-hearted and honest, and put them in a situation where if they share something with you, it doesn't mean that they're going to get punished for it,
Right.
because then you can just kind of work your way through these things that are going to come up. There's going to be hurt. There's going to be sadness. Somebody's going to get drunk or high some point, I guess. I mean I mean, and I think we also have been pretty open with sharing our own personal experiences about the struggles that we've had growing up and the things that we went up to a point, up to a point. I don't think we've shared everything with them.
You got to
But
have your secrets too.
yeah, we got to have our secrets too. Yeah. Yeah. But it's going to be okay.
All right. So you grew up during an amazing time, I feel. I feel like you were born 10 years before me, and just the bands that you got to see growing up. And considering that you are a musician, were you a big, I know concerts are expensive for kids, but did you get to go see a lot of those amazing bands when you were coming up?
Okay, so I had this crazy thing happen where as you know, I grew up in Philadelphia, and a kid moved in around the corner from me when I was 6 years old, named Harry Spivak, and we became friends. I met him on the street, and he was new to the neighborhood, and we became friends. Turns out his dad, they owned restaurants and clubs in Philly, and they owned a venue called the Electric Factory, which was a in those days they called it a discotheque, but it was a no alcohol music venue. We're talking about probably I don't know. I was born in 58, so probably 1966 or something like that, 67.
Mm-hmm.
We started to go to shows there, and as little
Oh,
kids. So I saw Janice with Big Brother and the Holding Company.
what?
I saw Delaney and Bonnie. I mean, we would go up to the light tower, and they were putting colored dye onto a little slide and doing the psychedelic kind of projection onto the stage. So
Yeah.
as a little kid, I actually experienced that whole 60s thing. Even though I was born in 58, I was really young to be seeing it. And then that club eventually shut down. The mayor of Philadelphia tried to shut it down because he thought it was a den of iniquity and drugs and all that. It's a guy named Frank Rizzo, but they were able to stay open, and then they closed, and then they started Electric Factory Concerts, which was at the Spectrum in Philly. And then we started going to all that's when the stadium rock happened. And you don't want to know. I mean, I saw
I do want to know.
I saw
You see
Zeppelin. I saw
Zeppelin.
the
I know you did.
Stones. I saw, Stones like multiple times. I mean, I can't even remember.
What
I
what
mean,
what what tour did you see Zeppelin on? What year do you mean?
I guess it would be, gosh, I don't know. You would know what the actual tour, but I'm guessing it's somewhere around 72, 73, like some early 70s
The
tour.
Holy or Zeppelin 4 or something like that. Oh my God. What is, did he have the Vista Light kit, the orange Caesar?
I don't remember his
Uh,
kid, Bill.
I
I'm
know.
sorry.
I know. You know what's funny is I can barely remember the concerts that I went to with anybody.
But that's hilarious. That's hilarious. Oh, what kind of kit was he playing on?
What was his gear? When you were 11, did you take the time? Did you go to a podcast 50 years later? That's amazing. Well, we do a segment on this podcast, believe it or not. People write in and they ask me for advice and stuff. So I was wondering just to switch it up here. I'll read these questions and maybe, you can weigh in. We can get some advice from an incredibly successful man with a big heart, helping people out here.
I'll do my best.
Okay, that's all we do on here. There's no pressure. You can always pass. All right, musicals. Says, "Dear Billy Boo Brain," whatever the hell that means.
Nice.
I had a dream last night that you were announced to be in a remake of The Wizard of Oz. Because it was a dream, I was not able to read the article clearly, but I was incessantly trying to figure out who you were cast as. Despite this project not being on anyone's agenda, I really need to know who you would play. My initial reaction is the Scarecrow for obvious reasons. Scarecrow didn't have a brain? Is that it?
I always get confused about that. I think the Scarecrow didn't have a brain, right?
The Tin Man needed a heart and the Lion needed courage, and Dorothy had to get home. All right, but I also think you could be a killer Tin Man because your joints are all tight from that 80s lifting regimen. This is really not advice. You're just kind of shitting on me. Truth be told, you could probably nail as a representative of the Lollipop Guild with your cracked smile grin and little kicking legs. This is the internet. I'm sure you're familiar with this. There's never any there's no compliments on the internet. Need some answers on this so I can get on with my life. Well, you know what? You can trash me. Who do you? I think I'd be one of those little Putians, whatever you call them.
You know what? You know what I see you as, Bill? And don't take this the wrong way. I see you as one of the flying monkeys.
You know what I like about that is you're still the producer. You're also going like, what kind of box office is this guy going to bring in if he's one of the leads? Just give him a flying monkey thing. We'll see how he does. How come I can't be the little wizard behind the curtain?
I think you can be the little wizard behind the curtain. I don't know.
Give me some advice because I know that you, for a while, you got typecast off your early movies, so then you had to play against type. So I keep playing cops and Boston guys.
Yeah.
What is my against type move here?
I keep playing cops and Boston guys.
Right.
Listen, in fact, I'll tell you a funny story, just an aside. I checked into to start the pilot on City on a Hill, which is the one I'm doing now for Showtime. This is a year or two ago, and I'm staying right on the Common, and I get to the hotel and I leave my car with the valet, and I take my dog. My dog was with me, so I was taking my dog into the Common to take a leak. And this guy's sitting in the car and he goes, "Hey, how come you get to play all the Boston cops?" And I'm like totally out of the blue. And I was like, what? And he just repeated that again. And it was just such a funny Boston thing also, that he was kind of like wise ass and sort of, busting my, it was kind of aggressively kind of like busting my balls, but in a sort of funny, like kind of cool way. And I was like, I really don't know. And clearly, I think he was an actor. I think he was an actor, and I think he probably had put together that here I was rolling into town once again, right, staying at the fucking Four Seasons and
Copley Square.
And taking, yeah, and taking one of his roles.
Yeah, I get people back there like, dude, how come you're doing all this shit? I'm funnier than you are. Just as funny as
Funnier
you
than
are.
you
You
are.
weren't that funny when we were in math class and just get all like, hey, I mean, there's open mics, man. You can go do them. But by the
Yeah.
way, I got to give you props on the Boston accent. How can you get to play all the Boston cops? You got that aw sound down. Everybody thinks because of the joke, the park the car in the Harvard Yard, that the whole thing is that ah sound. They don't understand that that's just with, an AR sort of at the end of a word. And they miss that Boston. Because I'll say, where you from? I'll say Boston. And they go, oh, Boston? And I'm like, did I say it like that? It's BAW, like baw, like saw. That is my life's work, is to just get people to at least say the name of the city correctly. So as formerly, I mean, I haven't lived there since 95, but that sounded pretty damn good to me. So I don't have a problem with you playing all the Boston cops, you cocksucker. All right.
Okay, so that's one line. I've scored with one line. Good.
Oh, it was good. It was good. That's something to build on. All right. Underrated music parts. Dear Billy Crescendo. I love discovering parts to a song that are usually overshadowed by more famous parts, i.e. the drum part in Sultans of Swing is very underrated. Oh, that was
Wow,
dire.
this is obscure. This is a very obscure music question. I like this.
Yeah. Okay, good. The legendary Mark Knopfler guitar solo certainly steals the show. I'll just do a Boston accent for the rest of it, and you have it down. But the drum part is such a solid groove. I was wondering if there were any parts that made you feel the same way. Another one for me is the piano parts, Pink Floyd's Us and Them. The addition is usually on the awesome female vocal part where she's wailing at the end. May the force be with you in order to go fuck yourself. Love the podcast and happy holidays. Yeah, I mean, of course I'm going to go blank, but for some reason, I think because we were talking Boston, there's a drum, Aerosmith, Joey Kramer on Get Your Wings. There's a song, I forget the name of it. But it's like this last song, the first side, she's a woman of the world, and God, she knows it. Well, there's a breakdown in the middle where the band kind of drops out, and it's just Joey Kramer just laying down this simple groove, but it just sounds so fucking good that I used to like wear out the record just trying to figure out, because you know that stuff when you first start playing where you're like, physically I can play this, but I can't make it sound that good.
Sure.
It's like this magical thing. So I would say something like that. What about you?
Oh, wow. That's such a, I mean, I find that to be a really interesting question. She's not talking about just drums because she mentions another instrument. It's at one point, but it's kind of like the
Piano, they think she said.
yeah, piano thing. Yeah. It's kind of like that thing of, well, I guess it's kind of like where you go, what really made this a hit? And is there some kind of unsung hero? And God, there's always these unsung heroes in music, right? I mean, but one thing that just popped into my head was that Mike Campbell lick in that Tom Petty song. What song is it? All I hear is the lick now.
Breakdown.
Breakdown. I guess it's breakdown. Yeah, and it's like nobody. I love Mike Campbell. I mean, I think his that you don't go like. People would never really talk about him in the top sort of like Jimmy Page-ish kind of echelon of guitar players, but and maybe Tom wrote that, like I don't know, but I always look at that like, to me, like I love that song Breakdown, but like that lick is a really, really important part of it, and it's a really simple thing, right? It's like super, super simple. So that's one that just popped into my head. Thank you, Alyssa from Idlewild.
I'm a big fan of bands that never sounded the same when the drummer left.
Ah,
I think that's such a statement of the drummer, and I think I still love Tom Petty throughout his whole career and Steve Ferroni and everything. But when Stan Lynch was in the band, it was a different sounding band. Guns N' Roses, the same thing too. I love Matt Sorum, but like when Steven Adler was in it. It was just a different. He had just such a unique feel. I never felt like a guy he had like this punk sort of background where he was pushing the band while being laid back and swinging at the same time. It was the weirdest, coolest feel I've ever heard from a drummer, at least during that period. All right. So now we got dumb questions for employees. So a lot of people work with the general public and they get asked stupid questions. I don't know if you ever had one of those. Oh, you were a waiter, right?
I was a waiter. Yeah, I was a waiter and a busboy.
Yeah, so I'm sure you got plenty of dumb questions. So this is, I guess, the immigrant edition. So, hey, Billy No Mates. I actually know what that means because I knew this English chick. And she told me that's an expression. If you're alone in a pub, they say, hey, look at Billy No Mates. You don't want to be friends or whatever.
That's
so
good.
You know why that was? Because when I was on the road, I used to go to baseball games by myself. So I had all these pictures of me in front of these baseball stadiums where I was by myself and a stranger's holding the camera. So she goes, you should do a coffee table book called Billy No Mates. And it's just a picture of you in front of all of these stadiums. It's actually a decent idea.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Billy No Mates. I'm an immigrant from England, Manchester specifically, now living in the Midwest. I love the feature of people writing in with their dumb questions. They get at their jobs. My stuff is pretty run-of-the-mill, but I remembered being asked some pretty fucking stupid questions since moving here. So here goes. All right. So this is some English guy, I guess, who came here. So do you guys celebrate 4th of July? What do you do? We go to work like any other weekday. All right. This might not be something that you can participate in. I realize that. I'm new to this interviewing thing. How
You're doing
often?
great.
Okay. Thank you. How often do you get back to London? Never. I'm from Manchester. Well, how the hell would they know that? This guy's a cunt. All right. You guys only drink. You guys drink.
Which is an interesting word to use because it has a very different meaning in England than it does in the States, as you know.
Oh, it is an art form over there.
It's used.
I like that better than going to go see Big Ben or something. Is hearing people in Great Britain, Ireland saying cunt is one of my favorite things. The Scottish were the best. The complimentary cunt is the greatest. Like, he's a great cunt. I'm like, I want to meet this guy. I got to meet this great cunt.
You know, there's actually what I found out was that, well, first off, I can't stand my name, and I found out that it's often used as an insult in parts of the UK. You know, he's a fucking Kevin. You know, and which kind of means, I don't know, just sort of jerk, or you know.
Yeah, that's like the Karen over there or something like that.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. So I was thrilled to hear that.
All right, well, we're going to wrap up here. I can't believe you came on.
Before we wrap up, I just want to tell you one thing, and that is that I was listening to you. I guess it was last Monday or whatever, and you went off about your dream car thing, switching from I think what was it originally, a Fairlane or something? What was it?
I'm a truck guy, and then for a while I was obsessed with '67 Cadillac Eldorados, and for whatever reason,
'67 Eldorado, right?
Yeah,
and now you've moved into the Bronco. Well, you know, COVID has, you know, sometimes there's been weird impulses that have happened, and during this virus, I bought a '69 Bronco.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Wow. Was it all original? Had it been redone? What's it?
It's all original. I mean, I put not me because I know nothing about working on cars, but I did put in disc brakes just for safety.
You got to do that because people cut out in front of you like you don't have drum brakes, and that's what I did on a buddy of mine helped me do that on the front. I still got the shoes in the back, but I got the front.
But it's got no roof, it's got no windows, it's got no doors. It's got a front window, obviously.
Does it shift on the column or is it automatic?
On the column, and to tell you the truth, I know how to drive a stick shift. I mean, I have since I was young. But I don't think I'd ever driven 3 on a tree, so I'm on fucking YouTube going, how do you drive 3 on the tree? And I literally learned it on YouTube.
I bought my truck out of Atlanta, Street Side Customs, little shout out to them, and they sent me this '68 Ford F100.
Oh, that's what you have, a 68 F100?
Oh my God, yeah. I'll
Oh, I
send.
didn't know that. No, I thought you were talking about an 82 Bronco you wanted.
Oh, I like that too. Like
Oh.
if I had my dream garage, it would look like the opening scene in No Country for Old Men when all those trucks with all the dead dudes are in it, because those are all Fords. I'm not really into '78, '79 Fords, but I like everything else.
But do you still have the other one?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, wow.
So it was three on the tree, and how I figured it out was I just slowly let out the clutch, and it didn't stall. So I'm like, all right, that's first. And then straight up, I figured out, I learned was reverse because I'm thinking, gonna go false and I go back. I'm like, all right, that's first. And then I just sort of worked. I was on, I don't live on a busy street, and I sort of figured it out. I was like, all right, so this is just like an H. So it's reverse, first, second, third, and I've really kept it. I just updated a few things, like those trucks ran a little hot, and so I got an aluminum radiator. We put that in, and then also the intake manifold weighed like as much as a battleship. So when I had the engine rebuilt, they said, they make an aftermarket thing out here of that's more made out of a lighter metal. I forget what it was, but it's just as fine, just as good. It's all
You
sealed
don't have,
up.
it's not fuel injected though, is it?
No, no, no. This thing ran on regular gas. And the
Hmm.
problem was I was trying to learn how to do that treatment. And, you have to dump the stuff in, and I didn't know to do that. So I burned out a little bit of it. So that's when it had to get like rebuilt. So I've only done a few things. I think we changed a little bit of the gearing and the differential or whatever, just to give me a little bit of help. Because with 3 gears, I would take that thing on the highway. If I had to go somewhere, if I was driving it that day, I'd have to stay in the slow lane. But it was just really starting. I felt like I was redlining it at like 50 miles an hour. So it just gave me a little more. If I can go like 60, 65, but I really realized, as much as I like watching people go fast, I like cruising around. That's why I like a caddy. I like a pickup truck and stuff like that.
I've
Although,
become the same thing. I don't, I'm up in northwestern Connecticut here, and I'm never going to I'm never going to take the Bronco on the highway. I've never taken it. I'm barely hitting 50. And my daughter said to me, so basically, you got this so that you could drive like 3 miles down the road and, buy some apples and then turn around and come home. I was like, yeah, it really is. I think that's
and how
all
enjoyable is it too?
it's,
'Cause
it's
that's what I
great.
miss about being in LA. There's not like a country road that, I look at that truck, it's like that thing should be on like a country road. And I did some gigs in Connecticut, and we were staying at a house more like Southwest Connecticut. I was trying to be between, Boston and New York.
Hmm.
And I mean, it's God's country out there. After you live out here in the desert, it's on fire now for like 3 months out of the year, it seems. I was thinking like this is the place to have a classic car. This is a place where you could have like a motorcycle, where you could be on a back road and not feel like every 5 seconds somebody texting is gonna like end your life. So that's
Yeah.
cool,
Yeah.
man. Are you one and done with the old cars, or is this starting a new thing?
No, I am. I used to have a 61 Austin Healey Bug Eye Sprite. So it's kind of like the two
I know that
extremes.
one. Yeah, I don't know that one.
It's like a little. They're cute. It's like kind of like a Triumph or an MG, like a tiny little British racing car. It's got these crazy bug eye headlights.
Yeah.
But I sold that. That was a car that you really needed to know how to work on cars, because basically I'd take it out once and then wouldn't start, and so it was like constantly in the shop. And I was like, I'm not the guy that knows how to do that. But yeah, I'm not going to be a collector. I like this thing. It's it's I just took it out and turned it over just because I need to, but I don't think I'm going to drive it again this winter because it's really cold. I
Yeah.
mean, it's got no doors, and
I grew up with Tonka trucks, and I think that's where I just never grew out of that. And my
mhm.
dream as a kid was I wanted to have a big 4-wheel drive truck with the lights up on top of the roof.
All right.
When I was a kid and I saw somebody driving down the street at dusk, and all they had on was just not the hat, what do you call it, the fog lights. And they
Right,
had
right,
them up
right.
there. I just thought that was the coolest thing.
Well,
Like that
by the
literally
way,
affected, like I wanted a job where I would have an excuse to drive that truck.
those early '80s Broncos that you're like
Yeah.
buying, those are incredibly expensive cars now. I mean, some of those have been outfitted. They're like over $200,000.
Oh, that's if they do like that.
Yeah,
I
they
don't
do all
get
that.
that. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't get having a $200,000 car. It's like, where am I going to go with this? I'll
I,
be afraid to take it anywhere. And then
yeah,
somebody like some piece of shit can
I don't
come
get
in
it.
like,
I don't get it either. But they're hot now because Ford's coming out with a new Bronco, and I think that kind of makes people into the
oh,
old
but I
one.
like the full size one. So, and the years that I like 80 to 86, and those things for whatever didn't catch on. But that's just when I was a kid. There was somebody in my high school who had a green Ford F-250 four-wheel drive. I don't know what year it was, but I remember they'd gone off-road and came to school to look cool, and the whole thing was covered in mud except the windshield where the wipers were. And
Hmm.
when I was a kid, I was like, "That's the coolest fucking thing I've ever seen. I got to get one of those days." But of course, I didn't. I had the little, had the little two-wheel drive Ford Ranger with the little AM/FM radio. It was sort of an omen for my high school experience. So, anyways, but I'm so glad you came on this podcast. I'm such a huge fan.
Back at
Uh,
you, man. I love your shit. I really do. You're really funny and you're really smart, and I really enjoy it.
Oh, thank you so much. And so December 15th, what is the name of the thing? A primetime broadcast?
Play on,
What's it called?
play on.
Play on. Okay, it's going to be on CBS, 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 Central, with the great Kevin Bacon. Kevin, thank you so much. Continued success and enjoy that Bronco.
Okay, thanks, Bill.
All right, buddy. We'll see you.
Take care. Bye bye.
All right. All right, now the advertising. Here we go. Movement watches, everybody. Movement, MVMT. We all know that 2020 isn't playing by any of the usual rules, and that goes for holiday shopping too. Between shipping delays and the mess and stress of shopping in stores right now, there aren't great options. But our friends over at Movement Watches have made gifting easy. MVMT makes clean and modern watches, eyewear, blue light glasses, and jewelry. Getting great quality and style, doesn't have to break the bank. Did you freeze up, Andrew?
No.
No? Okay, you just looking. Sorry.
Sorry.
Movement.
Just reading.
Movement. Everscroll blue light filtering glasses are a personal favorite with lenses that protect your eyes from long hours in front of your screens. Oh, those are great. They come in tons of fashion-forward styles to choose from. Give the gift of better sleep, better focus, and better style. I'm going to buy myself some of those with the blue lenses because it brings out my eyes. Movement has been the super sleek matte black packaging. Oh, has this super sleek matte black packaging. Just add a bow and you're good to go. Their products are one size fits all, and their gift guides help you find the gift that fits their style. Their shipping is fast, and they offer free returns all the way into next year. Not that you'll need it. Get 15% off today with fast free shipping with free returns by simply going to mvmt.com/Burr. All right, simply safe, everyone. You know, everyone wants to keep their home and family safe, whether it's from a break-in, a fire, flooding, or a medical emergency. It'd be great if they could screen for annoying friends too. Simply Safe Home Security delivers award-winning 24/7 protection. With Simply Safe, you don't just get an arsenal of cameras and sensors, you get the best professional monitors in the business. They've got your back day and night, ready to send police, fire, or EMTs when you need them most straight to your door. Sorry. Simply Safe has an arsenal of sensors and cameras that protect every inch of your home. You can set it up yourself in about 30 minutes. It's super easy. Then Simply Safe's professionals take over, monitoring your home 24/7 and ready to send help the moment there's an alarm. Plus, with Simply Safe, there's no long-term contract, no hidden fees or installation costs. Right now, my listeners get a free home security camera when you purchase a Simply Safe system at simplysafe.com. simplysafe.com/Burr. You'll get a 60-day risk-free trial, so there's nothing to lose. All right? simplysafe.com/Burr for your free security camera today. That's simplysafe.com/Burr. All right, Manscaped, everybody. Look at me. Been on the road with the beard. I could use some of this right now. Looking for the ultimate stocking stuffers for this holiday season. I'm actually going to say stocking stuffers are the biggest pain in the ass. Okay? You always forget it. And then when you do get something, what if it's too heavy and it's going to rip the stocking right off the little nail there, like you're in Whoville? This is the perfect gift for you. All right? Look no further because our sponsors, Manscaped, have the tools to make you win this year's stocking stuffer or white elephant competition. Manscaped is the only brand dedicated to below-the-waist grooming and hygiene products, and great news. They just released their products across Europe, Canada, and Australia. A few of their products that are prime stocking stuffers this season are the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant. Now, that nothing says I love you like letting a loved one know that their balls stink and you have the solution. On Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. The name speaks for itself. Crop Reviver Ball Toner. Huh? You want that youthful glow in your sack? They got a spray-on toner that will give your balls a little slice of heaven with their aloe vera and hazel extract. You should have said hazelnut extract. Crop Mop Ball Wipes. You know, your balls need so much attention. It's good the company finally addressed it. Crop Mop Ball Wipes. This is not a toupee for your nuts. You never know when an opportunity strikes you, so you should always be prepared. Foot Duster. This is foot deodorant designed to keep the stankiest feet smelling fresh. Shears 2.0 is a luxury 4-piece nail kit. Did I say clit? Nail kit. The Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer, which provides proprietary skin-safe technology to get rid of those nasty nose hairs. Let's not forget about the best trimmer for your butt, balls, and body, the Lawnmower 3.0 trimmer. Dude, you can't tell me Bigfoot's not getting this. He's probably sick of hiding in the woods. He's going to get himself all cleaned up and get a desk job. With the Lawnmower 3.0 trimmer. Offers a replaceable ceramic blade with advanced skin-safe technology which helps reduce grooming accidents. That'll affect your whole mood in the day if you got a fucking cut on your balls. These formulations are all vegan, cruelty-free, dye-free, sulfate-free, and paraben-free. So you know their products are legit. I don't even know what half that shit is. Get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com with the code BURR20, BURR20. Whether this is for your partner, dad, brother, friend, get them something that they will actually use, and it's almost sure to get a laugh. Get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com with BURR20. Be the ballsiest gift giver this year with Manscaped. There you go.
Hey, what's going on? It's Bill Burr, and it's the Monday Morning Podcast for Monday, December 10th, 2012. How's it going? For those of you who follow me on Twitter, you guys know that I have a special guest this week, and we're going to get right to it because he's already bugging me with his fucking giant shirt. We have the one and only Michael Rappaport from every film that you've ever fucking loved. Nice to have you on here.
You're reinventing the podcast because you said podcast, so your accent, P-A-W-D cast.
Yeah,
and I'm talking shit about accents.
That's the Boston podcast.
I know,
man.
But
I'm sorry, that's the Boston accent.
I know, I got it. No, I got it.
Because a lot of people, when they do that, you actually pick up on that we say P-A-W, like we say Boston, B-A-W, like Boston. And people always go, where you from? And I say, I grew up outside of Boston. And then they go, oh, Boston? It's like, no, dude, Boston.
Yeah.
Like saw with a B.
No, I got you.
Yeah.
I know I'm not one to talk about accents. But I like the Boston accent. I like it because it's more fucked up than the New York accent. That's why I like it.
It just all depends. It all depends. I have to adjust these levels.
It is like apples and oranges. But I do like the Boston accent, and I like the Chicago accent. Their shit is way out there.
Yeah, and that's one that I can't even duplicate. Like I haven't been out to the Midwest enough, like in Chicago, to even try and like do a bad.
It sounds like everybody's doing an SNL character. The Chicago accent is just I love it.
You like the Chicago?
I just like working class accents, like Boston, New York.
Well, what I like about you is you've lived out here forever, and you never lost your accent.
Yeah, I have.
You must have had the voice coaches and all that saying like,
yeah,
Michael, if you want to work more in this industry.
Yeah, they warned me. But, all the actors that I really admire, they never truly lose their accent. So I was like, if they don't have to do it, and I'm, of course, as good as them, and I'm, of course, referring to, like, the De Niros and Pacinos, because I'm, when you mention De Niro, Pacino, Rappaport, it's like De Niro,
right
Pacino,
there.
Rappaport, Brando, Rappaport. Sometimes they put De Niro, Pacino, Brando, Rappaport, and that's fine.
Right.
That's fine.
You don't get upset?
No, I don't get upset. But I've lost it a little bit here and there, and you could tone it down. You could do variations on it.
Well, when you go back, because when I go back to Boston, and I run into some people who really have it hardcore.
Yeah.
I burst out laughing, going especially when it's a beautiful girl.
Yeah,
in Massachusetts, and that heinous accent. Like, are you sure?
Yeah.
They'll say stuff like that, and it's coming out of their mouth, and they sound like they're fucking, like there's something, they have brain damage.
Yeah.
And there is those times where I'm just like, wow, I used to, and I never thought I had it that bad.
Yeah.
I have some old stand-up tapes that I will never show anybody.
Oh, where you could really hear it?
Oh, dude, I'm brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal. I would win an Oscar, if it was for a Boston accent, how bad it was. And
right.
I still have it pretty bad.
Yours is good, but when we were working in Boston, because we were playing Boston, of course I was, my Boston accent it's pretty. Well,
you just sound East Coast, so I
I was the black sheep of the family, so I was like, he must have left Boston. So
yeah, he went upstate.
But yours was hard. I was like, because it was you and you. There was other Boston people. I was like, people they really got that shit down. People were really in their native tongue.
Yeah, no, I didn't get anything down. I was from there.
Right.
I don't do any work. But just to let people know, we did a movie this summer called The Heat, with Sandra Bullock and Melissa McCarthy.
And the director of Bridesmaid, Paul Feig.
Yep.
It's comedy, R-rated comedy.
Definitely
Bill's really funny in it. Curses a lot. Everybody curses a lot, and we're a dysfunctional family.
Yeah, we all play. We all play brothers, which is, of course, when I tweeted out that you were going to be on the podcast here. And I was just saying, if you have any questions, let me know. And I knew it was going to be a bunch of, what are you guys, brothers, the pigment thing and all that.
The redhead, the sun cancer twins.
All that shit. They weren't even that good. And that's the thing. They send them to me like they're going to make me laugh, and they think they're so fucking clever. And it was basically 70 of the exact same joke, but there was a couple. I should actually read the funny ones.
What were some of the highlights?
You want to hear some of these?
I love sometimes I set myself up on Twitter to see if I'm going to get some good stuff, and people make me laugh, even if they're insulting me.
I'll see if I can.
Fuck you if you insult me on Twitter. By the way, I don't respond back. I might just retweet because I got kids, and it's just not. It's just what good does it do? I used to, when I first got on Twitter, I would get into arguments with people.
Oh, you're making their day.
I know.
And
now
like,
I realized,
my God, the guy from True Romance.
Yeah.
I'm actually interacting with him.
Yeah, he told me to fuck off. And
Yeah.
they retweet. He goes, fuck your mother. And they put that on there.
All right, well, here's a good one. Why did stupid Fox cancel his show, The War at Home? So that's a nice one. They were a fan.
They were a fan. Politics, man. Politics and show business, just like politics and politics.
Let's see what we got here.
Anything good?
Do you think you were separated at birth?
That's funny. Ha 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 ha.
That's all.
We're going to discuss sunblock.
I thought you and him were the same guy.
There's another one.
Ask Rappaport if he realizes he's white.
Yeah.
I love that just because you're from Brooklyn and you have an appreciation for a culture other than your own.
Yeah.
Where are we? I don't know. It's just going to be more of this. I'm not going to waste time fucking blowing through this stuff. But what was I going to ask you? I was going to get into this thing. The whole way this whole podcast, you being on the podcast, came about wasn't just that we, were working together. Was that we both have dogs.
Right.
And I started talking about, the big thing is curb your dog. If you have a dog, like in New York City, I think that they were the first ones, came up with the
Pooper Scooper.
Pooper Scooper, or Poopa Scooper, where I was from. And, that basically to get the dog shit off.
Right.
And then that became a thing. Because when I was a kid, if your dog took a shit, it just took a shit.
Right.
It was just outside. It barely had to have a license. So now you're supposed to pick up after it. So I never owned a dog in New York, but I own one out here, and I always pick up after her. And you had this interesting duality as far as when and where you pick up after your dog.
Yes. Well, here's the deal, okay? I grew up, I never had dogs. So when I actually got my first dog, I lived in Los Angeles. And, of course, you want to follow. You got the dog a license and,
right.
Pick up after the dog. And I was good. And I would carry the shit bags and I would pick up the shit. And then I had two dogs. So it would be, you'd have to bring like 3 or 4 shit bags per trip. Because each dog, who knows what's going to happen. But the thing is Then I moved to Los Angeles. Then I moved back to New York with my 2 dogs. And in New York, this is where
What kind of dogs? By the way?
mutts, 2 mutts.
2 months. Okay.
2 mutts. But this is where the conversation between me and Bill about dog shit and shit bags got interesting. Because I said, I don't use shit bags anymore. Now I'm back living in Los Angeles. And Bill, there was just a sense of judgment on, you don't use shit bags.
Yeah, in L.A.
In L.A., I don't use shit bags. And the reason why, here's the deal. In New York, I use shit bags. I clean up all the
now,
dog.
why in New York? Because you like East Coast better than West Coast?
No. That's not why.
No prejudice there.
No. I would pick up the shit and then be able to walk to the corner and drop the shit bag in the garbage pail. Okay? In Los Angeles, there's not, and so in New York, there's garbage cans on every corner.
There is. Yes, there is.
Even caddy corner, there's garbage cans. Sometimes they're filled all the way to the top and the garbage is spilling out, but at least it's the place to get rid of the shit bag full of shit. In Los Angeles, for those who are not familiar with Los Angeles, there are not garbage cans on every corner. So, therefore, when you are walking your dog, and 2 dogs, when I made up my own rule about this, you pick up the dog crap. I don't want to keep saying shit. You pick up the dog crap in the shit bag,
All right.
and then you carry it. And you could be walking 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks with it. Now I have 2 dogs on a leash, medium-sized dogs, 50, 60-pound dogs, with 2 shit bags.
Right.
By my side. It's not like you could take the shit bag and put it in your pocket and then dump it out like it's like a candy wrapper.
Right.
That's not cool to have to walk around with 2 shit bags.
It's not the picking up, it's the carrying of the shit.
It's the carrying of it. Now, I could change my rule and pick up the shit, put it in the shit bags, and then throw that right on the side of the street. And then someone else has to deal with it. But a person...
But just to play devil's advocate...
Play it.
You got the 2 fucking dogs, all right? You live in a nice, upstanding neighborhood. You're considered a good citizen of this city.
Not by anyone who knows me.
All right,
but I appreciate that, Bill.
Do your neighbors see your dogs take shits and you just walk away? Like, let me ask you this.
Yes.
So when you're in L.A., if your dog's taking a shit, do you at least put your head on a swivel and be like, "Oh, there's a basket over there. I will pick this lump of shit up"?
No, I do not buy shit bags anymore.
You have zero tolerance.
I don't fuck with shit bags anymore. And the reason why I don't fuck with shit bags anymore is because I'm not walking around with bags of shit for block and block and block and block. It's just not cool. It's not. It's degrading. and here's
How is it degrading?
To walk with a steaming hot bag of shit for like.
Well, you don't hold it from underneath.
No,
you
but
hold it from
it's
the fucking
hanging.
top.
But I got 2 dogs. Well, I have 1 dog. Stanley died. R.I.P. Stanley.
Sorry to hear that.
Okay, she was old, but even now I have a big dog. Dog takes big shits, right. And in the bag, and then I can't walk. Text, because you got to text when you're walking your dog. That's when you get good text. Yeah, that's good text time when you're walking your dog. I can't walk the dog, who I sometimes take off the leash. She's trained. And then carry a shit bag. I'm just not doing it. And I'll tell you something. So right. You say upstanding citizen. And I'm like this. The game, I'll refer to it as the game, the shit game. Listen, if a dog shits on my yard, it's part of the game.
Oh, you don't get mad if so?
Nope. You shit on my yard, it is what it is. My dog shits in your yard, it is what it is. Now, sometimes there is a tinge of guilt if I know that it's because I know some of my neighbors, so I'll be like, oh shit, like there's a 6-year-old there, he's probably going to wind up playing football, stepping in it, running in it. Oh, and there's a 6-year-old girl there.
Do you at least, like, when your dog takes a shit, do you stand there defiantly like, I know my dog's taking a shit, I'm not picking up? Or do you pretend to be talking on the phone and not notice it? Are you a worm about it? Or are you...
I'm a worm about it. I'm not going to front. Listen, there's sometimes I'll feign like I'm bending over and I'm doing something to pick it up. Or if somebody goes, hey, your dog just went to the... Oh, he's sick. I ran out of shit bags. Like he's...
You lie.
I'm not going to, because I've had confrontations. One dude.
Do people literally say, hey, Michael Rappaport?
That happened once.
Your dog took a shit?
One.
Because now that you have, you've had fame for a while, but you're not some random, you can't believe what this fucking asshole did. You can't believe what Michael Rappaport
I will accept that. I will not argue that. It's part of the shit game. So
I got to turn this down, man, because we're fucking getting into this. I think I got the levels too high here.
If you want to insult me, criticize me, judge me on my policies with shit bags, fine. It's not a Los Angeles thing. I love Los Angeles. I'm from New York. It's just you put a garbage can on every corner, this will go out the door. You got a problem with me? Put it on our
So you have demands.
Listen, I'm not walking more than a half a block with a shit bag in
Who's
my
the
hand.
most famous person you've seen walking with a shit bag for a good 6 blocks? You ever just been driving around and you'd be like, oh, there's Mary Tyler Moore
with a
carrying a shit bag.
I've never seen. Have you ever seen somebody with a shit bag in Los
Carrying
Angeles?
one? Yeah, somebody famous? No.
But
I think that they have like their assistant walks their dog. Maybe that's what your problem is, dude. Once you get famous, dude, you need like an assistant.
I need to walk the dog. I need that text time. I need to clear my head. I got 2 kids. Get out of the house for a few minutes, and I do my thing. But I will tell you one time.
Do your kids know that you don't pick up your shit?
Unfortunately, yes. And I say, don't.
So this is a 3-pronged problem. Now. It's you, because it's your 2 kids,
and then it's creating other little kids. But I explain to them the reason why. Because if you in Los Angeles, if you carry that shit bag, you either have to make it back to your house. Say you're 10 blocks away from your house.
Dude, I live it every morning.
You walk with a shit bag 8, 9, 10 blocks?
It's almost, remember that Tom Hanks movie where he was like talking to the soccer ball?
Yeah.
Like literally, like it's to that point.
And doesn't it disrupts, once you pick up the shit and you have the shit bag, that's the only thing you're thinking about. And then sometimes you get so relaxed that it's just like you forget that it's even in your hand and it's like just dangling. It's just not cool, man.
It gets to the point. No, you know what it is? When she takes a fucking horrific shit. This is going to be the shit podcast here, by the way. When she takes one of those horrific shits.
Steamer.
That you can literally see through the bag. And then you're walking with it. And then some hot chick comes jogging by. You just feel like an asshole.
It's degrading, man. It's degrading. And that's my thing.
I love degrading.
It is. I've had people say, pick your shit up. I had one guy, my dog, and I told this guy, I shook his hand afterwards. My dog shat his yard. I kept walking. I told him that the dog is sick. This guy's a prick anyway. This is when he first moved in the neighborhood, and I didn't know he was much of a prick.
Now, why is he a prick? Because he called you out or because he's...
No, I respected that. We got into some other thing later. He cursed out my kid and some other kids, called them really bad names, and... It was bad. And
was it because they weren't picking up after the
No,
dog?
It wasn't even that. He was just one of those guys, like it was whatever. But my dog shat in his yard. He somehow had a weird accent too. And then he said something. I said, the dog is sick or whatever. One of my 2 or 3 excuses I had. I kept going. This fucking guy, I was walking 3, 4 blocks away, picked up the shit in a shit bag, drove up to me. So he picked up the shit in a shit bag and brought the shit bag in his car.
This guy.
I respected it. And he came up to me and your dog shit and he handed me the shit bag. And I said, you know what? I respect that. I took the shit. I said, shake. He didn't want to shake my hand. I said, please, please. I shook his hand and he went on.
You know what's funny?
And then I dropped the shit bag right there.
But you're acting like you're noble, that this guy had to go pick up your shit. And you'd be like, you know what? I respect that. I respect that you just picked up my dog's shit. And fucking... It's good. Depends on what you feed them. If you feed them the human food, then their shit's as healthy as our shit's.
It's fine. It's good for the grass. But listen.
Have you noticed that, by the way?
What?
Anything can take a shit on your yard, and it'll make the grass greener, except for a human being.
And I've shat on my own yard.
Okay, we got to get into this. What do you mean?
No. That's my shit bag.
Dude, I apologize for the cough.
No problem.
Listen, man, I bought these fucking Cuban cigars. And I put them in the fucking humidor, and I had it turned up too fucking high, and it fucked up the cigars. Like, I guess it's fucking acceptable. There's like fucking little bug eggs in there, and if it's up too high, they like hatch. I don't know what I have in. I think I got a virus in me. Ugh. It's gradually. This is the most disgusting first 10 minutes.
Oh no, that's good. No, I don't want to
yeah.
discuss people. I'm not like one of these people with the who likes to talk about shit.
All right, so on a scale of 1 to 10. Yeah, as far as your upstanding citizen count, 10 being the best, 1 being like, I can't wait for that motherfucker to move out of this neighborhood. Where are you?
Aside from dog stuff, I'm a good neighbor. I consider myself a good neighbor.
Dude, that's like Manson say, aside from fucking getting people killed, I'm a good drummer.
No. Aside from my dog is harmless. The dog couldn't hurt a fly. Listen, my house got broken into. The fucking dog was sleeping. It said on the police report, it said the dog was sleeping.
Oh, you freaked me out about that. You were home, and somebody came in and just, like the boldness of that, just came into your house at night, took, like, whatever, laptop or some bullshit.
Took stuff, and my dog didn't wake up. Cops come. Dog fucking bolts out there. Cops pull the pepper spray. No, don't pepper spray him.
Right.
When he had his moment to shine... to bark, attack, do something. He was sleeping.
You know, I made this reference the other day. You know what he's like? He's like that dude Bobby in Saturday Night Fever, driving around the crowd. Where were you guys? I was looking for you. I was looking for you.
Exactly. I would have done something.
So,
Bobby.
you actually made me.
They fucking got Gus in Saturday Night Fever. Remember, they beat up Gus. That's why they went back and got them.
Oh, that's right. I've only seen it a couple of times.
Saturday Night Fever?
I know that's a big one for you
Big.
guys. You guys in Brooklyn. You're from Brooklyn, by the way.
I'm
right?
from Manhattan.
You're from Manhattan.
People can make that mistake. I went to school in Brooklyn. I have a lot of friends in Brooklyn. I have a lot of affiliations in Brooklyn, but I'm from Manhattan.
You know people. You go to Brooklyn, they know you.
I got a Brooklyn pass.
Well, let me ask you this as before we get into this shit. Are we done with this shit topic here?
I'm fine with it. You brought it up. I'm comfortable with it. You were fascinated by it. I'm comfortable with my stance on it.
Because you know what it is? I have such a fucking need to be liked. When we come back after this, the commercial.
You gonna talk about your need to be liked?
I'm going to talk about that and how I just found out from my fucking neighbor how loud I am.
Oh, okay.
I had no idea.
I have that problem, too.
Okay. I think it's an East Coast thing. We're just loud. All right, here we go. The Man Great system, everybody. This holiday season, think the Man Great. What is the Man Great, you ask? Or maybe you didn't ask, but the copy did. They're 100% made in America cast iron grilling grates that are revolutionizing the way people grill. Named one of 2012's best grilling accessories by Men's Health magazine. Man Grates are the perfect gift this holiday season. It's the worst read ever.
It's really good.
Click on the Man Great banner on BillBurr.com for their $19.99 holiday special.
Do you get one for free?
Yeah, they hooked me up. They've given me 2 so far. So if you want one, I can give it to you.
Why not?
I use it. They're awesome. It's basically, like when you have like a little hibachi.
Yeah.
And they give you that little bitchy grate on
Yeah,
top.
yeah.
It's like for a grilled cheese sandwich.
I'm ready.
This thing, you put it in. You put their system on. It's the big, thick ones, like at a steakhouse. So you can really like mark up your steaks.
Yeah.
You get more heat on it. It actually makes the food taste 100% better.
Sounds good.
Every Monday morning podcast order comes with a heavy-duty grilling brush. Again, that's the Man Great Grill Enhancement System. Order today at BillBurr.com.
The guy who invented it's going to be fucking standing next to George Foreman in the I got $100 million line.
Exactly.
George Foreman got a lot of money off those grills.
And that's one of those things I wish that I came up with. Let me do the Stamps.com and we're done with the advertising. Stamps.com, everybody. Would you love to have the post office in your house rather than having to go there? Why wouldn't you? When the holidays are almost here, you don't have time to go to the post office. Traffic, parking, it'll be packed, and everyone mailing holiday gifts and packages. Thank you. So what do? You go to Stamps.com instead. With Stamps.com, you can avoid all the hassle of going to the post office during the busy holiday season. Everything you would do at the post office, you can do right from your desk. You can buy and print official U.S. postage using your own computer and printer. Print postage for any letter or package the instant you need it. Then the mailman picks it up. It's so easy. I use Stamps.com to send out all my DVDs every weekend. Well, the weekends that I'm working, I should say. You should use it, too. Right now, get this special offer when you use my last name, Burr, B-U-R-R. Get a no-risk trial plus a $110 bonus that includes a digital scale and up to $55 in free postage. Even if you don't use it, you get $55 in stamps. Don't wait. Go to Stamps.com before you do anything else. Click on the microphone at the top of the homepage and type in Burr, B-U-R-R. That's Stamps.com. Enter Burr. All right, back to the podcast
Let's
here.
do it.
So today, right, we saw Bruce Springsteen, by the way, the other night down in Anaheim.
Oh, I thought you saw him around here.
No, sorry.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I'd never seen him, and I was one of those guys going, dude, I don't get it. All he does is sing about Jersey. But like so many people I know who were borderline.
Did he do his southern accent? Because
No.
he's from Jersey, but he does a southern accent sometimes, which is weird to me.
He didn't do that.
Do you know what I'm talking about? I'm just, he does like a southern accent, but he's from Jersey.
Oh, yeah. He's the common man.
Yeah, you're the
He's
common man, but you're from Jersey.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I don't want to shit on Bruce.
He went, and I was down there like, all right, man, all right. I was going to say Born to be Wild, Born to Run or whatever. I'll listen to this shit. Dude, I got to tell you something, man. The fact that I ever think that I gave a performance after seeing what that guy did. Dude, 4 songs in, I'm already blown away. He's blown away bands that are in their 20s and 30s that I've seen. Just fucking killing it. His voice sounds unreal. Goes out to the middle of the crowd. He's standing on this stage out there. People are going fucking nuts. And then he just lays back into the crowd and crowd surfs like 70 rows.
That's cool.
Up to as the band keeps playing.
That's crazy.
And right as he gets onto the stage, boom, they go right into the closing verse. Dude, that's encore.
Yeah.
That's somebody closing out a great concert. Yeah. That was his 4th song.
That's crazy.
And it didn't peak there. It just kept. He wore me out, dude. I was sitting down.
How long did he go for?
3.5 hours of
Bruce
that
is no
energy.
joke. Yeah, that's crazy.
He is no joke, dude. It was sick.
And the thing about that I love so much is that he doesn't have to do 3.5 hours. He loves to perform.
You totally get your money's worth like that. He was like,
whether you like it or not. Like Bruce,
that guy.
I got just like longer than Schindler's List. Like, what the fuck, Bruce? I gotta go, man. I gotta take my dog out to take a shit. You know,
dude.
What I mean?
Every time, like I'm so old, like my back's killing me and shit. And they do that shit where they have like they hit the final note of the song and Weinberg's doing the cymbal wash and they play playing a chord and you think he's gonna be like, thanks a lot, Anaheim, you were great, and he always just goes 1, 2, 3, 4, and they go into them. I'm like, oh my god,
that's crazy.
Like you just kept thinking that this guy couldn't get, dude, and it's fucking Anaheim.
Yeah,
one of the cheesiest, like, just like
he said it, not me. That's Bill talking about Anaheim.
Dude, it doesn't even look real.
Right.
I think back in the day when they had like all the orange groves and stuff, there could have been some sort of personality. It's just one fucking strip mall after another.
Right.
It looks like a giant, like,
it's Disneyland down there, right? Anaheim.
Yeah. Like there's no. There isn't that feeling of any sort of culture.
Right.
Either way.
Right.
And he's down there performing like he's in Giant Stadium.
That's cool. Yeah, I respect that, man. That's
so anyway, so today, that fucking Born to Run song, which I never was into. So I'm up in the bathroom and I'm singing it, but I'm doing different lyrics and I'm singing to Nia. And it's all vulgar. And I did all the way.
Were you born to come?
No. I was just saying how I was starting off saying I was just singing about what a great guy I was, and that Nia doesn't appreciate it, and all this shit that I do.
But in the
her.
cadence of Born to Run.
Yeah, and then somehow there was something about banging you in the ass. Just
That's
really
cool.
Vulgar. It was really vulgar.
That's cool.
So then it goes.
Like banging your ass, like maybe, hey, like, you know, I don't need a Christmas gift. I'll bang you in the ass.
She'll never let me do that.
Baby, we can do. No?
Yeah, but she'll never let me do that. Yeah, so I was singing that.
And you gotta ask.
And I got all the way to the loud as fucking hell. So I walk out of the bathroom. I didn't realize my bedroom window was open. I go, hey, Nia, do you like that Bruce Springsteen impression? And before she could answer, I heard somebody just in a talking voice goes, no.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, shit.
It was your neighbor?
Yeah, and I started thinking, like, holy fuck, how much have they been hearing? How loud am I? And then Nia, I kept wanting Nia to make me feel better, but she just goes, you know, you're loud.
Yeah.
There's times I pull up in the car and I hear you on the phone, and it's making me like really like self-conscious, like fuck, I'm that loud. And I felt bad until you fucking come.
And I'm like,
you come and you hit the buzzer and I pick it up. I'm like, hello, and you start screaming, Derek Jeter.
That's right.
Like loud as fuck. And I'm
That's
like,
right.
all right, maybe it's just an East Coast thing.
Well, as far as upstanding citizens and loudness, I've come to terms with the fact that my neighbors know everything about me. If they wanted to, like, you know, start a scandal on me or, you know, they know my whole life. Because, yeah.
I got this buddy of mine back east, big giant Yankee fan. So we have these Paul Verzi. We have these epic fucking arguments about sports where I'm just like, I got him on speakerphone and I'm yelling like we're in a crowded bar. I can't imagine. I feel bad for my neighbors.
And what they've heard. I know they've heard me doing insane.
Dude, my neighbors on this side have kids and the stuff that I say cunt all the time. It's just like, she doesn't give me dirty looks. But I look at it like she has a toddler and I can never hear her kid.
Well, if you never hear the little snotty-nosed, loudmouth kid screaming and crying, she probably never hears you. You should ask her.
See, that's what I need.
You ever hear me say cunt or fuck you? Or because I don't want to offend your kids, and you should just ask her.
I don't know. I think that would get weird, but whatever.
You have to be mean to say, yo,
Dude, it takes a lot for me to be embarrassed at this point. Just in general, you become immune to humiliation when you get into this. Like every audition you go into and you eat your balls after a while, you just don't feel it anymore.
Yeah, this business.
But that I literally got that made me feel. I was embarrassed. I was like, wow, she heard all of that, and like just the way she said no to this was not the first time she heard my loud voice.
This was just you just opened the window up for her. They opened the window literally for her to get involved with the conversation.
And I was fantasizing about all these cool comebacks that I wished I said, but in the end, I just had to realize, like, you know what? She was right.
She was right.
She was right.
Yeah, I've come to terms with it. I got a loud speaking voice, but I'm in my house. I'm not bringing it down. So you hear what you hear, and that's it. But I turn music up. I got a pool, and I turn the fountains on when I'm there.
Dude, it's not like. It's not our fault that fucking houses are 2 feet. Like, I could literally take a running leap if I could leap through my bedroom window and I could land on the roof of the house next door.
Right. I know we're on top of each other.
Not the house. I mean, it's slam it to the side, but you know what I mean.
You'd be there.
I would be there. I would definitely be there. So some sports questions. I'm
All
trying
right.
to, and I know people want to know about your movies and shit, but I just figured
Yeah.
that you've answered all of that
I'll answer whatever.
a zillion times. All right, well, before I go into more sports shit,
Okay.
we haven't started, but I always end up talking sports.
Yeah.
Like, right out of the gate, dude, you were in one of the greatest movies of my life, True Romance.
Uh-huh.
And I was wondering, like, you were basically roommates with was Brad Pitt at that point, or was he
Brad
just
Pitt was
about to be
almost Brad Pitt at that point? Like he had done like Thelma and Louise. He had done the movie with Robert Redford. He had done stuff. He'd done California, and he wasn't the superstar, but you knew that he was going to be that. He was very well liked, and there was. He was about to be Brad Pitt, so it was exciting.
You knew that? You were just sitting there going, this good-looking son of a bitch with his abs.
No. He was real, and he was totally cool. And the thing about True Romance was that, first of all, the script was so great. When you read the script, it just read. You were like, Quentin Tarantino scripts, they just read so easy, and you're just like laughing and like, what the fuck? And it was so irreverent and so, I'd say about 95% of what wound up in True Romance was written. Like, it's so actor friendly, like it's hard to screw it up. And so, I had heard, like, initially it was like, okay, Christian Slater and Patricia Arquette. And Patricia Arquette I had just seen in Sean Penn's movie called Indian Runner. Right. That was like one of the first things she did, and she was great in that. And I was like, oh, this is going to be dope. And Christian Slater was like, right at that time, it was perfect. And then you heard, oh, well, Gary Oldman's playing whatever
the pimp there,
the pimp. I can't remember the character's name, and that's cool. And then Val Kilmer's playing Elvis. Really?
Wait, so you were already?
I wasn't cast yet, but like
cast
it was.
yet.
I had been going in for another part. I had been going in for one of the mobsters, and I got cast as one of the mobsters, as one of the younger mobsters. So I was like kind of like, oh, I was.
So you would have been in that scene with the classic scene with.
I would have been in there, like,
and
around there, and then. So then you heard like, Walken's playing the mobster. Holy shit. And then Dennis Hopper's playing his dad. Holy shit. And Samuel, and I'm 24 years old at this point. I had done Zebrahead, a little part in Poetic Justice just to meet Tupac. It was like I just wanted to meet him, and then a little part in a movie, another movie, and then True Romance. So I mean, I was such a fan of all these guys, and I was so sort of everybody was. But
how big was Tupac by the time
he was Tupac? He was doing Poetic Justice. He was like a star.
Because I thought he kind of came out and he was with who's that guy? The Humpty Dance guys in like 90, 89, 90, and then he broke out on his own like 91, 92. I would think he was still like on the rise. He
wasn't what he became. Like, he became this iconic. I loved him though. This was after Juice. I loved his music. He wasn't the star that he became like after, when he was with Death Row and he really took it to the next level. But he was big. I mean, he was, and I thought Juice, his performance in this movie Juice was just like, it was incredible. Right. And I was just, I at that time, I mean, I was still a huge fan of movies and huge fan of actors, but like at that time, like I would become enamored with people's performances, and I liked his music, and I had a funny kind of relationship following him because I was friends with Jada Pinkett, and she kept telling me before he did anything, my friend Tupac, he's going to be a big star. Tupac, and I had heard his name, and then he came out with Humpty Dance, and he came out with that, that one verse on Digital Underground, and then, then of course his solo album, and then Juice, and I was just like, damn, this guy is special. And so to do that, it was John Singleton, who was just off of Boys in the Hood, and Janet Jackson, when Janet Jackson was like Janet Jackson.
Dude, you worked with everybody.
It was cool.
First, by the time you were 24, you were with just about every icon out there.
Yeah, and it meant a lot to me. Like, I mean, I get excited now, but like at the time, I was young, and I was like really excited. So True Romance, and it was Quentin Tarantino, who had done Reservoir Dogs, Natural Born Killers had come out. I think,
but he didn't direct this.
He didn't direct it. He
right.
wrote it. And I had met Quentin originally at the Sundance Film Festival because the year that Reservoir Dogs was there was the same year that Zebrahead was there, and that was a big deal for me. It was a big deal for him. He was nobody. Right. I was nobody. I was really nobody. And, that was a really exciting time for independent filmmaking. So, the script was being passed around, and Hollywood felt like a smaller community at that time. So everybody was talking about True Romance, and I got cast as one of these mobsters, and then this one was in it, and that one was in it, and then
so they cast you as one.
They cast me as one of the mobsters.
So what happened?
So then in the script, Dick Ritchie, the character I wanted to play, was written as a black. It was written as Dick Ritchie, black, young actor, blah 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 blah. So they were looking at young black actors.
Right.
It was just written that way. And then they weren't finding him. And Tony Scott, the great Tony Scott, rest in peace, great guy, so much fun to work with. They called me, and Mary Vernew, who was a casting assistant, who's now a huge casting director, and I got to fix this because the other casting director, I can't remember her name.
That's all right. I never remember names. Dude, you're going
no,
back.
But they gave me a break.
20 names.
They gave me a big break. Anyway, but I remember I got the word that from my agent that Mary Vernew was like, she thinks you're Dick Ritchie and you should play that. And it was very true. I never considered the part because I wasn't even brought in. She was like, the way you are. And I was like that. Like I was like looking for my big break, and and I was just really sort of wide-eyed. And
yeah, I don't know how actors do. It's the hardest thing ever. I don't know how you guys do it.
What?
It's so much easier as a stand-up.
Well, yeah,
you're sitting there doing an hour-long commercial. That's your special, and
right.
Then you just do it enough. Eventually, that's how I finally got little parts that I've been getting lately. Was just going through that. The shit that you guys do, like I've done a couple of pilots, and like the second the pilot is over, I'm going to go tell jokes, and these other guys are like, well, unemployed again, and it's just like I don't know how you do that.
It's
Sorry,
rough.
I didn't want to.
No, it's cool, and I want to talk to you about it because you said something when we were working together about the stand-up thing, which is like you're independent. If you're good at it, which you are, and you're successful at it, you have a
you're never unemployed. Like
it's a beautiful thing.
I don't have that level of strength to do to try and make it just as well, I mean, I had a passion for stand-up, but just sit there and be like, all right, I'm going to fucking wait tables.
Fuck that.
And I'm going to get a bit part and be in this movie, this giant production, and then, every fucking movie you see, there's like 100, whatever, about 40 actors who got work on that, but there's like 2 people that continue on.
Exactly.
And then maybe somebody in the other, 38 gets something, and then everybody else goes back to fucking waiting tables.
Right.
You were in a movie, which is the biggest thing ever to everybody in your hometown and stuff, and I don't know that they understand like how fucking hard that is.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
I'm not saying like, as opposed to digging a ditch. It's not physically hard, but
emotionally it's hard.
Emotionally, to go from that.
It is hard.
Yeah, to then fucking going back to waiting the tables and I don't know, and just knowing you're good enough,
right?
Just having,
and then knowing you're good enough, and it's being proved because you got a part.
Yeah,
but it might not pay the bills much longer than when you could be like great.
If you were a quarterback and you came out, you first start, you threw 300 yards, and for some inexplicable reason you sit on the bench again for 2 fucking years,
like Tom Brady.
It's crazy.
Like that's like Brady's thing. Like he was just sitting there,
right?
Yeah, being an actor. The emotional highs and lows are tough. But
I could never do it.
It sucks. It's the worst part of it because that's so much of it. It
does. It seems like it sucks. That's why it always makes me laugh when actors, they'll be like, stand up has this weird sort of like it's respected, and they also look at you like you're slapping yourself in the head with a rubber chicken, where it's like it is obnoxious. Just ask my neighbor. It's fucking obnoxious, but then like there is this respect for it. But like, the balls it takes to get on that. Like I feel like there is a lot of humiliation, but the level, I just couldn't handle the fucking stress. Like I would be doing a movie, God willing, and I would just be thinking the whole time as I'm doing this, like I have to be so fucking unreal in this thing, or else I go back to Applebee's.
Fuck that.
Like I don't know how they do it.
It's tough. That's why when people ask me, if anybody, people always say, what do you need to do to be in this business? And I always say it has to be something you have to do. It can't be something that you kind of want to do. This business, if it's not something that you have to do, if it's not intrinsically in you that you have to do it, don't even try to do it because there's too much. It takes too much out of you. You have to do it. It has to be something that's within you. It's like if you were a writer, like what do I have to do to be a writer? Write. Keep going. If just because you're not on writing on The Sopranos, you have to. It has to be like something that's organic to you. Just like I
think you just have to have that psycho. Once you start down the road, there's no way I'm stopping.
Hell
no matter how many times. Like I got to tell you what's crazy is I know a couple of comics throughout the years. They're these legendary guys who never got beyond doing open mics or doing the occasional spot. and they fucking bomb 98%. Like, bomb. Like, quit the business, bomb. And they've stuck with it for 20, 25 fucking years. And you see, like, all these funny people that you run into on the road, and they'll say shit. Like, dude, like, as much as I'm shitting on some of the stuff people write on Twitter, there's people out there that write really funny shit like that. And I think, God damn, that's funnier than half the fucking comics I've heard. But, you know, try going on stage. Oh, no, dude, I can never do it. I can never do it. Because it's the whole fear of bombing. And then you see this guy just night after night after night basically living the horror that everybody doesn't want, and he just keeps fucking coming back. And I always look at those guys, it's like, dude, if you could take that stick-to-itiveness and actually apply it to something you're good at, you'd be great. Yeah, there would be no stopping you.
Right. That's fucked up. That's fucked up.
It is. But anyways, let's go back, because I know people are probably upset that I got out off of the True Romance.
So True Romance. So I mean, this cast was compiled. So anyway, so on a Saturday, they needed to cast this part. Like, I was like a week or 2 weeks away from shooting. So on a Saturday, which is unusual for show business and in general to do anything on a Saturday, because it's fucking Saturday. You know, show business, they take all of December's off.
Yep.
The 4th of July is like a 3-week holiday.
Yep.
You know, like this business, like
half of September is Jewish holiday.
Any
so that
holiday
month
in this business. So for them to do something on a Saturday, there was a necessary, you know, like there was an urgency. So I go in there and they're like, you know, we feel like you're this guy, who you are, and just read. And it was with me, Tony Scott, and the casting directors. And I went through all the Dick Ritchie scenes, and I said to them, because I once that door opened, and I was like, once I started thinking about the part, I was like, I love this part, and I love this character. I remember I said to them, don't let me leave until I get it right. You know, and I went in and I kept reading, and Tony,
and you knew to say that at 24.
Because I wasn't any
that's
hustle.
Great.
It wasn't any hustle. That's like now you could say that's like, oh, that's a smart thing to say. Like once I locked into the idea of me doing it, I was like, I had blinders on.
Right.
When I was younger, I would go in there with blinders on. That's another, like, I would be like, yo, I'm going in here, I'm getting this shit, I'm doing this shit, and that's it. And but it was
that's what I'm talking about. That psycho focus.
Yeah. That's what I had, because it was like I wanted it, and it was right there. So I went in there, I did a good job, and I remember one thing is that behind me, like when I went to go set up in the room, all the people that had been cast, their headshots were sitting behind me. So it was like Christopher Walken, Samuel Jackson, Gary Oldman, all their headshots, like playing this part. I remember seeing that. And I was just like, you know, trying not to pay attention to it, but I remember walking over to the thing and like seeing all of them, and I was like, I gotta fucking do this. I gotta get this shit.
Right.
And you know, and then they called me like 2 or 3 days later, and they said, you got the part. And it was like the character in the movie, because it was like, you got the part, I got the part, and I just was so happy. And then, you know, I remember I went to a rehearsal. It was me and Christian Slater and Patricia Arquette, and Patricia Arquette was fine at that time.
She's fucking. I had a huge crush.
Me too. And she was beautiful, and she was sexy and really sweet. And I was tripping out. I was like, she's fine. And I just saw her in Indian Runner. And Christian Slater was like a part of my youth, watching him. So, and I'm just starting to be in the show business. And, you know, I had done a few things.
Wasn't he kind of your age, too? Because he started so young.
He
might have been a little older.
A little older, maybe not. But, I mean, he was Christian Slater. He was a huge star. So I'm like tripping out. And they're like, you know, yeah, you know, like we're like having this like bonding sessions. And we're like, I don't know, we go out to eat, and we're like eating lunch, and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing here? You know, and we're reading scenes, and it's Tony Scott, and he directed all these movies. And Tony Scott was just Tony Scott, the way he treats actors and the way he treated me at that time was a big thing, because I was low man on the totem pole. At least I looked at myself like that. And, you know, but I was also had ideas and thoughts about the character, and he was so open, and some things he would say, great, do that. And some things he'd say, no, don't do that. But he gave me a voice, and it was the first time where I felt like, first time I had only done 4 or 5 things, not like I've been trying to do it.
He was treating you like that you were pro, like you knew what you were doing. That your ideas were worth listening to.
Exactly, and some of them he liked, and some of them he didn't. But it really gave me confidence to go forward. Like, yeah, I have a say in these things, and he just was so positive and so much energy and so enthusiastic every day, and his energy would supersede everybody on the crew, and he just was...
Who was the, the guy that I actually was such a huge fan of and was devastated when he passed was Chris Penn.
Chris Penn.
What was it like hanging? He
was fun.
You were in that final shootout scene where you were like covering up and everything.
He was great, Chris. And you know what? The day this goes out, if I'm gonna send you a picture, you could tweet with this. I found these cool pictures from on the set.
Oh, that's
yeah.
People would love that.
I'll send it to you, like personal pictures that I took. But Chris Penn, Tom Sizemore, and these guys were like, Tom Sizemore was in everything at the time, and Chris Penn these were like dudes, and they were in a lot of shit, and I'm like with them, and they're like treating me like I'm one of them. And Chris Penn and Sizemore, they're like regular dudes. Chris Penn, rest in peace. Also, he was just a sweet guy. And
there was a Reservoir Dogs anniversary DVD that I watched with this buddy of mine, DeRosa, and it had all of them telling stories.
Yeah.
And Chris Penn's stories were just you could just see he was just that hanging out guy.
He's a sweet guy.
Bar. Yeah, just
sweet.
So fun. I always felt like the way he did. I loved him in Reservoir Dogs, and I actually went
at close range.
Oh yeah, and I went on this whole Chris Penn tear.
Yeah.
That anything he was in, he did some obscure movie. Not obscure, but it was one with Harvey Keitel. I can't remember what it was. He was somehow his landlord or something. I just remember him running up the side of the house trying to see if Keitel was in there. I can't remember what the name of the movie was, but this is back when Blockbuster Video.
Yeah.
I'd be going there every day, and I went on this Keitel. I just Reservoir Dogs was ground zero for me, and every actor in there, I just went offshoot and just
find all their stuff.
Yeah, and just watching all of that, and I became. Not I stopped. I was just such a huge fan of that guy. Were they hilarious?
They were just hilarious and fun and warm and big personalities. And Victor Argo, he's another guy who passed away. Victor Argo was one of the mobsters. He was in Taxi Driver. Yeah. He was the guy in the store when Travis shoots the guy when he tries to rob the bodega. And he's in a lot of Scorsese. He was in Mean Streets. So I'm bugging. I mean, I'm bugging out that I'm
right.
and then Samuel Jackson. Sam's treating me like he knows me.
Right.
And I'm, and Val Kilmer is there, and I walk into the makeup trailer, and Val Kilmer's doing his Elvis makeup, and he's talking in the Elvis voice, finding the character. And Gary Oldman, I remember having a conversation.
God.
It was crazy.
You're sitting next to Val Kilmer, who's doing Elvis.
It's crazy. I'm tripping out. I'm literally tripping, and then Brad Pitt comes.
So what did you do? How did you... how did you not feed into that and go, oh, my God, I'm not worthy to be here? How did you keep yourself settled? This is becoming inside the actor's studio.
No, well, what I would do and what I always do, still to this day when I'm working with somebody, when I worked with you, I had to get myself together.
Shut up.
No, but it's the same thing.
My ego actually entertained that for half a second.
No,
I was on Premium Blend. Maybe it was a thrill for him.
At the time, I used to, what I would do is I would enjoy and be a fan when it was time to be a fan. I would never invade space or talk to them about any. I never would go up to somebody and sort of
do what I'm doing to you right now.
Yeah, I would never do that.
True romance.
I remember me and my friend Kevin Corrigan, who wound up playing the young gangster, and we had worked together on my first movie, Zebrahead, and we had worked together on something else, and we were both he got cast. Now we're friends now, and I always looked at Kevin like he's a real actor. He's really good. He's been in tons of stuff. He's on Twitter. We could tweet out Kevin, and we saw Christopher Walken in his wardrobe for the first time by the craft service, and Kevin would probably put Christopher Walken as his number one. I love Christopher Walken, but I would go De Niro's my number one.
Right.
And Kevin was just and I was yo, you got to go talk to him. I'm hyping him up to, go talk to him, man. Yo, you're like him. Go talk to him. And I remember he went over and talked to him, and the conversation, he would tell it better, was kind of anticlimactic because, Chris is bugged out. Chris is so much more funnier than you would think but at the time he was younger, so he really had that spooky look and he had that dark black hair, and he had the wardrobe on, so he had the suit on with this long trench coat.
What was his character name? Vincent? Oh, it wasn't Vincent Vega. It was the blonde. It was
Corraliti, or I don't remember.
He was the Antichrist.
He was the Antichrist reincarnated. But I remember seeing him by craft service by the truck, and I was just oh shit. And I mean, it was just such an exciting time. And Gandolfini was in our boat. Gandolfini that was his first thing.
Right.
So he was even less than me. He had never acted in a movie before. He had done stage, and so he was really nervous. He was really freaking out. So he was playing the mobster, and I remember being there watching that scene with him and Patricia Arquette. And I would go to this.
You hung out.
Oh yeah, we'd go to the set just to watch. It'd be the scene with Christopher Walken and Dennis Hopper. I was there watching it.
Fuck you.
I was watching it on a monitor. It was a set. And it was a small little.
Now, as that whole thing was,
yes.
Were you just sitting there going, "This is
crazy,
classic?
Crazy." Yeah, you knew that was the only movie that I've ever done where I could say, and I have a pretty good track record with this. It's the only movie I've ever done where I knew it was going to be great.
Right.
To all the movies that I've done, highs, lows, good or bad, whatever. You knew it was special.
When they would go, I got to ask some geek questions.
Go ahead, whatever.
All right, so when they would say cut after they did a run through of the scene, would there be any laughing and joking around, or was it
quiet?
It real serious?
It wasn't serious like I'm taking myself seriously, but I think the tone of the scene, because it was serious, and then I remember a couple times a line would get messed up, and there'd be a little bit of giggling. And Tony, I was behind the monitor.
Right.
Being super quiet and literally saying to myself, I can't fucking believe I'm here, like tripping out.
Right.
Because when you read that scene, that was word for word. You knew that scene, you knew what it was going to be. And just to hear them, I don't think I had headphones on listening to it, but you could hear them, just to hear them and be around it. Like you knew you were watching something special. Like I remember feeling like this is something special. And then when you see the scene, like I was there. Like I remember sitting there, like watching it, like this is special, and
did you feel as each time they did it a little different, or did they had their choices down?
They had their choices down. Walking fluctuates a little bit. But I think the scene was so well written. This is like almost 20 years ago, but the scene was so well written. You didn't need to really. Once you made you're locked in, you locked in, because it was just the writing.
So many moments in that scene. I love when Walken clasps his hands together.
Yeah.
Like, please don't make me. Whatever he says there.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen it, but that point where Hopper just like. Can I have one of those Chesterfields? And he's just like, you know what? I'm going out fucking swinging. And when he finishes the story, he sees that look on his face where he's like preparing himself.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to get killed now.
Yeah.
And it was just, I don't know. It's just one of the greatest scenes.
It really is. It really is special. It's special, and you knew it was going to be special. And when they got cast, you knew it was going to be great. And
how long did it take him to shoot it? Like
they probably had a whole afternoon.
Afternoon?
Sure, or maybe the whole day. But they might have had the whole afternoon, because the thing about the scene, there's not much other than the acting. There's not much logistically going on. So
they're
not
sitting there in that little trailer.
Yeah, so technically, it might have been a whole day. I know I was there for a few hours.
Where did they shoot that?
It was on a soundstage. I don't want to say it wasn't Warner Brothers. It was a soundstage. I don't think it was Warner Brothers. I can't remember exactly where, but it was a stage. I feel like it was Culver City-ish, but Sony. It might have been Sony. I think it was Sony. Culver City. So it was cool, man. It was exciting.
I had to watch that again immediately because I also like, now that I've been out in L.A. here for like 5 years, I actually like the same way I like watching old movies about New York City.
Yeah.
And seeing stuff that's still standing there and then shit that changed. I'm starting to get like that for like L.A. out here.
Like to go to the locations?
Sometimes, yeah, I'll actually do that. Like it bums me out that where they shot Reservoir Dogs out in Eagle Rock doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
And I just want to, at least, is the alley still there?
Right.
Where they pulled a cop out of the trunk. Like,
right.
I'm a geek for old sports stadiums, and I'm a geek for there's probably 20 guy movies that I don't give a fuck about, what women want. I don't give a shit where they shot that. But, if there's a place where they shot Goodfellas, if there's a place,
I'm like that
True
too.
Romance, Reservoir Dogs, like the typical hacky guy list of film. There's no left turns.
I'm still the same way.
In my film, in the films that I like. But
me neither.
But let's. I want to talk to you something about Hoop real quick, unless you had something more to add.
No. I mean, all I could say is it was a great experience. It was everything that you would imagine. Everybody was great, and I mean, and Brad Pitt. It was special. It was a special film to be a part of, and it was a special time for me. It was just a special.
Yeah,
thing.
you were in one of those rare movies where before I described that two people continue on the rest. You were in one where there was it seemed like 10, everybody.
Yeah.
Worked out of that. In fact, one of the guys who played in the scene, the walk-in scene with Hopper, the guy who's over at the fridge, he speaks in Italian.
Yeah, Paul Ben-Victor. He's a good friend of mine.
Yeah, he was in...
he's in tons of stuff.
He was in, The Wire.
He was in The Wire.
The Wire, yeah.
He works all the time.
Yeah, and he's one of those guys.
He was in there, and he was in the scene.
But he's one of those guys, he would have been back in the day when Blockbuster Video was still around. He'd be one of those guys that you gradually like, who is this guy? I keep seeing this guy. And then you'd figure, how the fuck back in the day did you figure out what other movies they did before the internet?
IMDb. Before IMDb, you just had to muscle it through. That would be for good conversations.
Maybe, you'd buy that book.
You'd buy
Wasn't
the
there
book.
A book or something.
Yeah, but you wouldn't even be able to keep update because you'd have to have a conversation. Oh, he was in this, and you'd call friends, and now you could just text and IMDb.
Jesus.
I was having that conversation the other day. the art of conversations and figuring things out is gone because you could just be like, hold on, and then you look at your phone and you got everything.
Or even thinking now on the new download on the iPhone where they have like that GPS thing,
right?
Which is great. Now you don't have to look down at the phone,
right?
You can just sit there mindless. They'll
right.
Make a right now,
it's
make
crazy.
a left here.
That I don't mind. But sometimes, like, oh, what was he in? And you could kind of like, oh, yeah, he was in that. But you just get it all taken away from IMDb now. It's great.
Oh, yeah, and it gets rid of the debates. And then, dude,
yeah.
I bet you $20.
Exactly.
$20 says he was in that
right.
fucking movie. Then it will get resolved 6 weeks later.
Yeah, but now you can't even get to the bet now. So,
well, speaking of betting, we got to talk sports here.
Okay.
This is a fucking question here
what is it?
That I want.
About the Knicks?
I got to ask.
What about that thing you were saying to me about Red Auerbach? You heard that he was gay. What was that thing?
No, you said that.
No, you said that you heard it, and I was like, I don't know, that's your guy. And you were like,
say that.
You heard that he had a bungalow in West Hollywood, and I was like, that's a big scandal. You should break that.
You know what? I know where this is coming from.
What?
This is coming from you being a Knicks fan, and you have two little championship banners that have to be turning yellow at this point. They've been hanging up there so fucking long.
Ugh. Yes, that's true.
Nothing. All right. Now, I wasn't going to drop in like that, okay?
But you did say something about Red Auerbach having a bungalow in West Hollywood, and there was a whole scandal.
No, I didn't.
I thought it was you.
I understand. It's the jealousy.
Somebody brought that up to me. I thought it was you.
Probably another sad-ass fucking Knicks fan.
I was surprised. I was like, how could Red Auerbach have a bungalow in West Hollywood, and that there was a whole other thing?
I heard that's how you got into True Romance. I heard you did him a favor. You gave him a fucking handy.
That's why we met on a Saturday when the business was shut down.
Got one of his cigars, so to speak. Fucking New York.
Yes.
Basketball fan. Knicks fans. All these fucking Knicks fans who've lived in Brooklyn and have been diehard fucking Knicks fans. All of a sudden, the New Jersey Nets move into their borough, and then all of a sudden, they're just all Brooklyn Net fans. And
are they all Brooklyn Net fans?
Enough of them are that it's shocking to me. The fact that when they were beating the Knicks in the end, when when they played in Brooklyn, and you knew that the Nets were going to beat the Knicks, that all those people were standing up going, Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Like taunting the New York Knicks. Like, to me, that's like some Benedict Arnold shit.
Well, here's the thing. Is that...
Please explain me what the thing is, because I don't fucking get it.
Let me put it in Boston terms. Let's say a team became the Dorchester Ducks, a basketball team, and they were like the Dorchester. Like, I don't know Boston so well, but I know that Dorchester's like it's.
There is a place in Dorchester, and there are Ducks up there.
Okay, but so
you're on the right path.
Let's say I want to say but let's say a team became like a sub team of Boston, and it was Dorchester, and it was like this neighborhood that's like very close knit, and it's in a lot of pride, and a lot of people have come through there, and it's a working class neighborhood. Brooklyn is that.
I get that. And I think it's cool that there's a team. Oh, go ahead.
But so that's the thing. So I think some people flipping is because of that. Because it's like, yo, this is Brooklyn. Like, if you're from Brooklyn and you grew up a Knicks fan, some Brooklyn guy. For me, I'm curious who are going to be the Brooklyn Net fans.
Well, here's my question.
But
the Knicks are on a fucking tear.
Yeah,
they beat the Heat last night. They're like what, like 12-4,
something like that, 13-4,
something crazy, right?
I don't count my chickens with that shit.
Okay, I know.
By the way, we could get into that.
Let's just say, hypothetical, they finally push through this year, and they win a championship, and all those people in Brooklyn who've been sitting
they're going to be pissed,
and they went through all the finger roll instead of the dunk. They went through all the fucking shit with the Knicks, right? And all of this, and like. You're not going to be rooting
years
for
and
them.
years and years.
Yeah, and it's just like look. I guess I get it to a certain extent if you're a kid. Like I get like little kids. If like Brooklyn, I'm from Brooklyn, I'll be on that. But if you're some guy in his 30 years old, so whatever, you started watching when you're 6, 20, you got a quarter of a century of fucking just rooting for this team. And then all of a sudden, the fucking New Jersey Nets.
The New Jersey Nets.
The fucking.
It's an interesting thing. I don't know. It's going to be a conflict of interest because the crazy thing is they're both doing well. And if they play each other in the playoffs, it's gonna be interesting. Like I would be curious, like when at the Brooklyn Arena, at the Barclays Arena, which I haven't been to, which I'm going to go to the game.
It annoys me how nice that place is compared to what the Celtics have. I just saw it on TV. It's fucking ridiculous.
I heard it's really nice.
Dude, they got the little suites that they have up there. They're like little mini brownstones. That's what the floor is supposed to look like. Like I guess if you have a nice brownstone in Brooklyn, that's the pattern of the wood on the floor.
That's crazy.
And then you look at the fucking Celtics. Yeah, we have the parquet floor, whatever, but it's just a bunch of cinder blocks.
Well, it's your fault.
There's no character.
You knocked that shit box down. the Boston Garden.
Dude, get the fuck out of my house right now.
You knocked that shit box down.
Shit box.
You knocked that piss hole down, right? That shit hole.
Oh, wait. I know where this is coming from.
Can I finish what I'm saying?
Guys, I'm standing up now. Where you fucking
this
guys...
guy, I'm not... Please know that this guy's about to assault me.
No, where you guys could never win. I get it. Kenny Skywalker.
Listen.
Bernard King.
Listen.
Patrick Ewing.
You
they
guys
all came through, and they all lost to the Shamrock.
I just want to say...
Shamrock.
You guys knocked that shithole down, and then you have a new arena. What's it called?
The Fleet Center.
The fucking Fleet Center. You should have. You should have
call it.
You should have done that. You should have, made it high-teched it and stuff. But you cut corners.
What does that mean?
Make it nice, like the Barclays. Make it nice, like, do something nice to it. But you wanted to make a shit box, knock the one down, and then make another shit box. That Fleet Center, I walked by it. It looks like shit.
Did you ever go to the Boston Garden?
I've never been there.
You sound like a guy who's never gone to the Boston Garden.
I've never been there. Why would I want to go there?
Did you think... Yeah, no, because it would
Didn't me and you go on that tour of Fenway? Were we together that day?
No, we did. Get on with your insult.
That fucking place. Is that not play? Oh, the history. The history's great. I could go to the museum for history.
Loved it.
It was a piss hole.
If they sold mouse ears there like you were at Disneyland, you would have bought them. You loved it.
Bill,
you told me you loved it.
Aside from the history,
you're just being a cunt.
Aside from the history, is it not a shit box? I couldn't even fit in some of those seats. It's a shit. There's poles blocking.
Oh, yeah.
It's a shithole.
It's character.
Okay, so Barclays wanted to revamp there and make a nice arena. God bless them.
No. I'm not giving them shit. I think it's great that they did that. But what I'm saying is that you went from
fans.
That you went from the Boston Garden.
Yeah, being a shithole.
Place that was, I mean, if you consider winning 16 titles there a shithole.
I didn't say they weren't good. I'm just saying the Garden itself was a piss box.
Listen, I'm not going to say it didn't need a coat of paint. I'm not going to say that the electrical didn't crap out on you every once in a while. I'm not saying that. All right, but it's better than the fucking Madison Square Garden.
My friend, they don't call. You can't even compare.
Tell me what do they call it?
What do they call Madison Square Garden?
What do they call it?
What do they call Madison Square Garden? The most famous arena in the world.
Yeah, and
it'll never get knocked down.
This is the thing.
And we revamped it.
First of all, that's the second one. They already knocked down the first one.
I know
if
that.
You knew your history.
I know that, but the first one was a piss box.
Secondly, the fucking most famous arena in the world. You know who came up with that? The people who fucking own the thing.
Well, they're good marketing people. All right? That's all I'm saying.
If I anoint myself a fucking nickname, you got to start calling me
you should call them to come up with some kind of something about the Fleet Center, because
that's
that
like
is
when
a
Michael
shit
Jackson
box.
just said,
it's like almost not even in Boston. It's like I went there. I was like, where is this place?
No,
it's
in downtown Boston.
Downtown, I don't know. It just seemed weird.
You don't like Boston because I liked it. We've won a bunch of titles.
I liked it. I was us working on the Heat.
What'd you like there? The swan boats?
I like the food. Sports? I like the food. I respect the sports. How could you not respect him? I love Larry Joe Bird. It's his birthday today, Larry Joe Bird. Love him.
Is it really?
Real big Boston fan. It's Larry Joe Bird's birthday.
Rest his soul. We're taping this on the 7th. It's his birthday, too. I never knew they had the same birthday. And he loved Larry Bird. I asked him, why didn't you like him over Magic Johnson? Because Larry made me feel like I could make the league, too.
Right. Yeah, he made it feel like anyone could do it.
Yeah.
So, Larry...
This is the thing.
I'll tell you a thing about the Boston Celtics.
I'll tell you something after your thing. Go ahead.
I grew up hating the Celtics. I couldn't even appreciate how good they were and how good Larry Bird was.
Because we killed the Knicks.
Everybody. I hated them.
Right.
And people used to... my nickname in Brooklyn is Larry Bird. Because of the way I look, and
Yeah. Dude, if you could grow one of those awful mustaches, remember?
No, it's just my coloring. I don't look like Larry Bird. No, I don't look like him. Just because I play basketball and I have, but I never had a fucking. What did he have? A shag or what is that thing?
He had the haircut every white dude had in the 80s. Everybody had that mullet.
I didn't have a mullet, but I was feathered.
You feathered it.
I did feather it.
Of course you did.
I should have appreciated.
And I bet you had some sort of with your liking of hip hop and everything. You probably had one of those thin Puerto Rican.
I wish
shaped up
but
mustaches.
at the time when Larry
looked like Larry Bird.
No, at the time I was too young to have one, but or else I would have. But I'll tell you something. I told you this. I really love the Celtics team that they have now, and what they did to Miami last year, pushing them to Game 7.
And that was one of my favorite Celtic teams of all time.
Me too.
All heart.
I was rooting for them so hard. And I've had mixed feelings about Kevin Garnett, especially now that he's a Celtic. I respect him. I love his career. He's awesome. The way he plays inspires me in what I do. He plays at the same level all the time. And they went out on their fucking shields last year and almost beat those motherfuckers. Because I don't care who it is. The Knicks, the Nets, the Utah Jazz, the fucking New Orleans Pelicans or whatever they're becoming. Somebody needs to beat the Heat.
You don't like the Heat. See, me, I feel that way about the Lakers. I hate the Lakers. And I actually think Kobe Bryant, this will get me some fucking emails, I think he's one of the most overrated
You're crazy.
5-time champions
You're
of
crazy.
all time. Well, go ahead. I can argue it.
What can you say?
He's been on nothing but pile-on teams. Like everything that they give LeBron shit for doing, going to Miami, Kobe has been living. He just hasn't had to leave because they bring everybody in. Dude, what he did the other night when he walked off the court with 10 seconds left, did you see that shit?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, you know what?
It was 4 seconds.
4 seconds? Whatever you did. You left your teammates sitting out there. All that does is breed resentment. That guy is a cancer. He's one of the greatest individual one-on-one players ever since Jordan. I would say he's number 2 behind Jordan. But he doesn't make anybody better around him. He breeds fucking resentment.
I agree.
100%.
But I love Kobe.
This is what kills me.
He's a blood. He's an animal, and that's what he has over the rest.
No.
Here's a debate.
But I have to say this before people say.
Do you think Kobe would have played with the 5 stitches? Do you think Kobe Bryant would have played with the 5 stitches? And I'm not disrespecting Carmelo. I love you, but do you think Kobe Bryant would have played with the 5 stitches?
Could be missing a leg, and he would play.
He would have played against Miami last night. That's the difference between him and everybody else.
But this is my criticism of the guy. The guy does not know how to get along with other fucking people.
He's a savant.
Dude,
he's the Bobby Fischer of basketball.
He fucking ran Shaq out of town. Like he said the other day, they go, you're going to score your 30,000th point. Did you ever think you'd do that? And he says, well, I'm not into individual stuff. To me, it was always about champions. It's like, that's why you ran Shaq out of town at the height of his fucking powers. You'd won 3 championships in 4 years. Shaq leaves the very next year. He wins one with the Heat. But you got your 50 a game.
I'm not saying that he hasn't done some things that he probably regrets. He would never say this. But I'm saying I love that guy and his game, and I've learned to appreciate him and his tenacity and his intensity. Listen, Carmelo sat out the other day.
You're not saying anything that nobody hasn't said. All they do is blow Kobe. And
I'm not blowing him.
And he makes... You're fucking giving him a hand job.
I'm a Knicks fan. So what? I'll give him. He deserves a fucking hand job. And you know what? I was at that. Wait. First, let's go back. He would have played with the stitches that Carmelo.
Hold the mic down. You're talking too loud.
Carmelo. Carmelo is retarded. He's sick, and he's becoming a great team player and a winner and all that shit.
Yes, he is, and I've definitely seen that.
And his talent is immense. His talent is immense. But last night while I was watching that game, and he might play, he might not play. You know who would have played last night with 5 stitches on your non-shooting end? Allen Iverson would have played. Kobe Bryant would have played.
Absolutely would.
Michael Jordan.
I'm not questioning the guy's heart.
Who wouldn't have played anyone else in the NBA
I'm saying
now?
His inability to get along with other fucking guys has fucked the Lakers. Like I feel like, dude, the amount of times I'm trying to think, like all those championship runs in the finals. When has he just taken over a fucking series? Has he ever done that?
Didn't he do that against you guys?
When?
That series that they just beat you. Like, what was it?
This was his quote. When they just beat us last time, he said, I don't know how we won that game. The MVP of the Game 7 of that series.
Who was it?
Was the fucking officiating crew.
Dude, not we. I'm not we. They beat you. They fucking beat you.
Yes, they did. They won. And this is my thing. Dude, if somebody beats me, like the fucking Giants, they fucking beat us. I don't.
You mean in the Super Bowl last year?
And the Super Bowl before that.
You mean when they beat the Patriots twice?
They beat them twice. Yes, they did.
You remember?
Yes, they did.
Oh, that's right. Oh, sorry. Okay. You mean when they beat them when you guys were 18-0?
I just got to let you get through this. Go ahead.
And then they beat you in the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Are you talking about that year or are you talking about last year?
I'm talking about last year.
When they beat you in the Super Bowl, was that last year? I'm sorry. I get confused. I'm not good with time.
You good? You feel better?
I get confused.
You feel better?
But you're talking about when the Giants beat the New England Patriots in the last 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah, I know it's hard for you to remember because it happened twice. I give it up. I definitely give it up. Okay? But my thing about the Celtics, I'm just saying as a fan here, Celtics-Lakers finals should be decided by the players. You put your fucking whistle away. You don't call 35 fucking fouls on one team, 17 on the other. And I sat there and I watched the Lakers make a fourth quarter comeback against the Celtics from the fucking foul line.
I remember.
If you tell me one memorable fucking shot in that fucking game, there's only one, was Meta World Peace. He hit a 3-pointer,
right.
And the only thing that made it memorable was he was so fucking high on whatever the fuck his therapist gave him, he was waving to the crowd like he was already at the fucking parade. That was the only memorable. Other than that, it was Rasheed Wallace just standing there as Kobe jumps into him, which I can see a no call. But to call a fucking offensive foul, and Kobe said at the end of the game, he goes, I don't know how we won that game. All right? So I'm saying that this guy,
he's sick.
Individual.
He's a motherfucker.
Individual. Yeah, you're one of those guys probably thought Peyton Manning was better than Brady, too, for the longest fucking
No.
time.
No, I'm not saying there's not flaws. I went through my hating Kobe phase, too. But
I don't listen.
I respect
you think that
sick.
You would think that I hate the guy. I don't. But my fucking thing about that guy is he's really, in a very openly way, a fucking cancer.
He's the Bobby Fischer of the NBA. He's like
he's you know what he is? He's reverse Magic Johnson, where Magic Johnson could walk into a locker room and look at me on his team inexplicably, and he could somehow figure out where he needed to give me the ball, which would probably be right under the fucking net, and I would somehow get 8 points.
I agree.
Kobe would walk in and would fucking be like, "Get that fucking piece of shit out of here."
He'd tell you to get the fuck out of here.
And people think that's because he gives a fuck about himself. Dude, those championships, he doesn't go to the front fucking office because he wants the Lakers and the team to win a championship. That winning championships is another individual stat for him. It's all about fucking him. That's my complaint about that guy.
I'm not going to argue or debate with you about any of that shit. I think the guy's retarded, though. And I say that in the best way.
On an individual one-on-one.
Doing it this year, the fact that you're never going to see him dip. He's never going to dip.
No,
He'll quit.
Absolutely. But the thing about it is, though, is if you really give a fuck about winning championships, you don't walk out on your team. Dude, he made everybody on that team his bitch at that point.
I know.
It becomes his dude. And fucking Dwight. When did it become Dwight Howard, by the way? Everybody's saying that. Everybody goes, Dwight Howard.
That's at L.A., the Stu and those guys on the Lakers telecast.
They were saying it last night on TBS when I was watching your Knicks beat the Heat. Everyone was going, Dwight Howard.
I don't know. I don't like his headband. I think it's fucking with him. Take that headband off. How old are you? Grow up. What are you doing? Put it on straight. Do something. I don't like the headband.
Dude, they've brought another thing, too, about his 5. They've brought everybody in short of Jesus Christ to help this guy get 5 fucking rings. And then they compare him to Kobe Bryant, who had Luke Longley and Bill Cartwright.
You mean to Jordan?
To Jordan. That's who he won with. Give me a fucking break, all right?
Listen, the rings are the rings, and the ring is the thing.
No, that's not it. That's not it. It's different. It's like the steroid era and not the steroid era. This is the pylon era. There should be.
Oh, it is the pylon era.
Yeah, give me a fucking break.
And Miami started it.
Huh? No,
Miami started that bullshit.
The Lakers been pylon
and then you
since
guys
the
in Boston
late
with
90s,
your big three.
Yeah, that was a pylon championship.
Yeah.
So I can fucking admit that.
Yeah.
That's a pylon championship. Miami's was a
I
pylon
can't defend
championship.
LA.
Dude, Shaq, Phil Jackson, and all those fucking guys, that was a pylon. Like, they're like the Yankees of fucking basketball.
I agree.
They just, every year, they're going to be signing these giant fucking guys.
I agree. I'm not a Lakers fan like that. I'm not going to sit here and defend the Lakers the way like that. I'm just saying, I want somebody to make sure they beat the Heat.
I love the Showtime Lakers. And as much as I hated those guys, like back then when, like,
they had a crew too.
But it was like draft picks.
But the whole NBA was different then.
I know, but I wish it went back to that where it was just like year after fucking year.
You got to groom your guys.
No, when the Sixers came in, you knew who was coming to town, and you had fucking 3 years of fucking hating those
I agree.
guys. Now it's like the guy you fucking hate the most, the next year, all of a sudden, he's on your team.
I agree.
Putting the fucking hat on, and it's stupid.
What Ray Allen did, I'm with Kevin Garnett. I don't say hello. I'm on that shit.
I, as a Boston fan, don't mind what he did because he wasn't ours to begin with. We got him as a free agent.
Fine, but
we knew
why
what
do you
he
have
was.
to go there? Go down there to Miami?
Because that's the way it's done now. They all fucking hang out and drink pina coladas in the off season.
They're all friends.
Hey, what if you and me all got on the same team?
It's bullshit.
And then we're like Larry and Magic. See, you're coming around to my side.
No,
so,
I'm with that. I don't like all that AA. It's all that AAU shit. They all grew up together. That's the problem with the NBA. They all grew up together playing basketball since they were 11, 12 years old. You're not going to fight them. Moses Malone met Bill Laimbeer on a basketball court. Moses Malone went against Kareem Abdul-Jabbar when they came out there. Magic and Larry, the first time they went out, they went face-to-face, was playing against each other.
Right.
This shit they do now, they travel and they're 11, 12. Everybody's kissing and hugging. They're all friends. That's what's wrong with the NBA. You think that fucking Lonnie Shelton was hanging out with Daryl Dawkins? Hell fucking no.
You know who Lonnie Shelton is?
Lonnie Shelton is the Seattle Supersonic. He was like a goon. You think that Bob Lanier and Artis Gilmore were like, yucking it up during the offseason in Cabo? Fuck no.
Yeah.
These guys are all kissing and hugging.
That's what so my thing is,
even in the NFL, I'm seeing them do it.
Because I already always sound like a fucking crabby old man with a tampon. But, like, my thing is if that's how it's done now, that's how it's done now. But don't fucking put these people in the same category as Larry Bird, who, we played like a bunch of sissies last night, no fucking layups this game. And, like, that type of shit
won't happen.
Is gone.
It's done.
It's gone now.
You'll never see the two, like when Doc and Larry fought, that was shocking. You will never see that happen now. Like LeBron and Kobe won't get into a fist fight. What Dwayne Wade did to Kobe last year during the All-Star game, see, that's why I like Kobe Bryant. See, but like, remember
I like him too. I like him, but I'm just saying, like,
he's on that shit.
But this is the thing, dude.
He's on that old school
my
shit.
thing about Kobe is if he acts like a fucking asshole, like Stephen A. Smith was still blowing the guy. It's just like, dude, he walked off from his fucking team. Call him out on it.
I agree. But Kobe's on that shit, though, that old school shit. Like, he's like, fuck these guys. He's literally like, fuck these guys. And I like that, fuck these guys.
I don't think he's like, fuck these guys. I think he's like, fuck these guys when he's playing you. And at the end of the year, he goes, fuck this. Those guys just beat us. Get us their best guy.
I don't know about all that. But I like that he's like, fuck these guys. And I like that Garnett is like, fuck these guys. And you want to go to the Miami Heat? Then fuck you, Jesus Shuttlesworth. Fuck you. I like that he's like that.
I see what you're saying. No, Kobe is a hard guy to hate, even as a fucking Celtic fan. But it just pisses me off when they compare these guys today. Where
he's the closest comparison you can make, though.
No, he isn't.
Yes, he is. No, and all the guys left, Kobe Bryant is the closest comparison.
Not even close.
I didn't say. I said he's the closest, and you're saying not even close.
He doesn't make anybody around him better. He's all about himself. He's not about the team.
I agree.
Like Magic wasn't like that. Larry wasn't like that. Dr. J wasn't like that.
No, but I'm saying
those guys weren't like that.
Of that tenacity.
Will Chamberlain was like that.
Yeah, well, that's a whole other story.
I'm just saying. I'm just trying.
Bill Russell is the most overrated icon in sports. It was like when LeBron was playing in high school. You know those clips of him playing high school, the pimple faced, 17-year-old. That's what Bill Russell was when he was playing in the NBA. I'm not saying he wasn't great, but he never got to compete against, consistently good competition. If you're only playing
Will Chamberlain, he's not a good guy. Jerry West.
These are not centers. These are not centers. Of course, you're going to block every shot. You're 7 feet. The biggest guy.
I know. We beat you guys a lot. We're in
Converse.
I understand where this is coming from.
I'm just saying that whole 11 championships, whatever.
Look,
man.
no, I'll go with this.
What would Bill Russell be now? He'd be like you know what he'd be in the NBA today? He'd be like Serge Ibaka if he was lucky.
No, that's
if he was lucky.
No, that's if you teleported him. But if he actually came up in this era with his talent, with the basketball knowledge,
I'm going to get in so much trouble for saying that.
The nutrition that they have, they'd all be bulked up. You can't compare different eras. But I will say this: early on, like those. Every sport has that fucking team that went on a run back during the 23 Skidoo years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just like
Skidoo.
Yeah, you're just like, all right, well, I mean, I probably could have made the fucking league back then.
Me too.
Because it just came in. I mean, which I couldn't. But the only, like the person, like the Yankees are a team, as much as I fucking hate them, where what makes them the greatest franchise ever, I think, more so than, the 27 that they talked about, is that they went Babe Ruth to Lou Gehrig to Joe DiMaggio to Mickey Mantle. You're talking like 40 fucking years of getting Jordan in a row. It's just like, and everybody else is scouting people. I mean, we fucking sold Babe Ruth. We were morons. That's why I hated the curse of Babe. Like, I felt that was a cop-out. It's like, no, we're fucking idiots.
Right. There wasn't no curse. It was just you guys fucked up.
Unbelievably.
Yeah.
And deserved not the fans, but the organization. They could have got.
I don't even give you guys those titles.
They could have given. Don't give us what titles?
The 2 titles you won. They don't even count to me.
Do you know how good this makes me feel?
It
probably makes like any Laker fan to listen to me bitching about Kobe, how happy that made them feel.
Those titles don't even count to me.
Yeah, why would they?
They just don't count.
Yeah, why would they count to you?
Because they're just whatever, man. Go ahead.
We were just down 3-0 to a $215 million team. We came back.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know that'll never happen again?
No.
Unless the New York Yankees do it. to have another $215 million team with like 4 first-ballot Hall of Famers choke away 4 games in a row. You're never going to see it again unless the fucking Yankees do it because they're the only ones who can afford that $250 million fucking team.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say, yes.
Yeah, you got to take that one. The same way I got to take your Giants shit.
Oh, you mean when they beat the fucking Patriots?
Yeah. When they
Oh,
beat
shit,
Patriots.
that's crazy. It all circles back. It's a circle of
Hey,
life.
speaking of the curse of the babe, somebody wanted me to ask you this.
Go ahead.
Let me see here. Evidently, you were on one of those ghost stories.
Yes.
Celebrity ghost stories thing. And they bluntly asked, where the fuck is it?
Ha, 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 ha. It was totally real.
That's what they said. See, you knew they were going to say. They were going to say, how full of shit. Hang on. I got to see this here.
No, but we got part 2. The part 2 is even better. It's coming up on, I don't know the name of the new show, but it's something. And we went back to school. Me and the friend that it's pretty good.
Well, tell me what happened because I missed it. I know I'm familiar with the show where it's like celebrities.
I had an encounter with a ghost, man, and I went in and I told it, and it was real.
That's such bull. You believe in ghosts?
Listen, I had a ghost encounter.
I can't find the fucking thing. All right,
Fine.
Wait a second. So, what? Take me through this because I think you're just afraid of the dark.
No, I'm not. It was in high school. I went to a really old high school. Billy Cunningham went to, Doug Moe, and Barbara Streisand.
Oh, okay.
And the rapper Special Ed.
Wow. That's a pretty eclectic.
It was eclectic.
Mix of people.
Erasmus Hall High School in Brooklyn.
Okay.
And
I thought you were from Manhattan.
I know, but that's where I went
college?
to high school. I had gotten kicked out of every.
Dude, we're at an hour and 7. How effort to listen to this band.
Oh shit! Are we
Fuck
really?
it. Yeah. Let's know. I got to hear the ghost. We'll wrap it up with the ghost story.
It's not worth it. Trust me.
Yes, it is.
I promise.
Because I want to give you shit about this.
No, I promise you, it's not. There's other things. Give me.
No. Fuck you. You saw a ghost. I want to hear this. All right. So
when we were in high school, we got locked in a room and shit was. I was 15 years old and we got the shit scared out of us. And my friend. But when we went on the thing and I talked about it, but the part.
No. Slow it down. Where did you were in this high school?
It's really old.
It's a really old high school.
There's ghosts in there, like it's known.
And there's known that there's ghosts. So you're in there
school.
and you're going to your science class. Is this after hours?
It was after school. It was like during
dusk. Ghosts never come out during the day.
We had detention.
You had detention.
It was like the urban version of the Breakfast Club.
Okay.
It was like the Brooklyn version of the Breakfast Club. So it was like that. And
instead of weed, he had coke.
Yeah, coke,
crack. Okay.
We're sniffing it. No, and we're drinking beers in 40s. But they make things seem heightened on the celebrity ghost stories. So it's.
You get.
I don't want to talk about it. I want to let people.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Well, we just debunked.
It's too hard to talk about, Billy.
It's emotional.
It makes me.
It's emotional.
I don't want to get so because we're talking. Yeah.
And it brings you to a bad spot.
Yeah.
Well, I want you to have a good time.
Yeah.
Here. So I don't want to bring up your true life ghost story that you told. Yeah.
The reason I wanted to tell you, the reason why I'm wearing my
by
Giants,
all means change the subject.
The reason why I'm wearing my Giants T-shirt and my matching Giants sneakers is because my son has his playoff game today.
You look like a Make-A-Wish kid with that matching shit on. But go ahead.
Because we have our playoff game today.
Oh,
and
you do?
I have to get to the field an hour and a half before to check the grass and make sure everything's good. Because it's
what's he playing? Soccer,
football,
baseball? Football. There we go.
But he's 10. I'm I'm not the coach, but I'm the inspirational leader of the team, and I have to get there.
You're like that fireman Ed.
Exactly. Exactly what I am.
Okay,
that's exactly what I am. I'm of the Barrington 10-year-old league. I am the fireman Ed of the Giants.
You're a great dad. That's
we won the Super Bowl last year, and we have our playoff game today. And there's other.
Are you yelling at the other little kids? That's right, bitch.
I know.
That's right.
I'm actually very good in that way. But I will say one game that we played. It wasn't Tony Gonzalez's kid, but Tony Gonzalez's kid was on that team this year. We were losing, and I was like, we're going to win this game with 3 touchdowns. And every time we'd score a touchdown, not Tony Gonzalez's kid,
right,
but he was on their team. But this fat kid, again, not Tony's kid, was like, what's the big deal? You just got 1 touchdown. And I ignored him the first time.
This is a kid in the crowd?
No, on their team, because I'm going nuts.
So this is a fat kid on the other team.
A fat kid on the other team.
A fat 9-year-old at this point?
10.
Last
It could be
year?
between 10 and 12. He could be 10 or 12. The way he's
Let's
eating,
make him sound 12 so you don't sound that bad.
Let's
so you're
make him
yelling
12.
at a fat 12-year-old.
No, he's hocking me. So what's the big deal? Hey, I don't say anything to him. And then we score again. Now we're down 6 points. These guys, he said this to me. This is a little kid said, this guy's getting so excited every time they score. I'm looking over and I'm like, and then I said, hey, don't speak to me. You're not allowed to talk to me. And then when we won the game, we finally won the game. Yeah, because I'm like, I want to be like, you fat fuck. Listen, get off the Twinkies, okay? And you know, stock up.
And you could say that back in the day, too.
Right, you can't say that
You
now.
could literally duke it out with his dad, and in the end, even though it was blood and teeth in the ground, there would be no lawsuit.
Nothing. Anyway, we won the game, and after the game, you know, you line up and handshake, and Tubby just saw me because he was like, this guy's nuts. But I'm always really, you know,
You're in the stands, so why are you out on the field shaking hands?
I'm the inspirational leader. I'm the inspirational coach. So I was actually, because we were losing, they brought me at halftime to come over there and give a speech.
Oh, there you go.
So I gave a speech. It's like my version of Hoosiers every week. I love it. But anyway, so I gave Fatso a good 5 and a pop on the ass after the game and said, good game, and smacked him on the ass.
Did he get mad or no?
No, but he knew that we had a little thing. And it was like, you know, it was like that moment in The Hangover, you know, when the little kid was like, but I was the little kid. I was like, fuck you. So hopefully we'll play them in the playoffs. They're the Chiefs. They're the Chiefs.
Where are they at right now? What level? Is it the first round of the playoffs? Is this
Today's the first round of the playoffs?
Oh, okay.
And we're playing a kid. I have a speech plan out today, and it's about us being a team and being brothers, and them having just one good player. And are you going to let one good player beat you brothers? Something like that.
There you go.
I don't want to blow my load right now, but it's a really good speech. I have it written down.
Dude, you know what? We're at the end here, and you know what I completely forgot to bring up that I love was the documentary that you did on Tribe Called Quest.
Thank you.
And there was a question that if people didn't see it, like I'm one of those people who came way, way late to the game.
Right, we talked about that.
When it comes to all rap, hip-hop, whatever the hell you're supposed to call it. And so, like, there's a bunch of stuff that, you know, like I was obviously familiar with them, and I knew a lot of their stuff. Like, you know, Yo MTV Rap was on it. They would put down, but I didn't know to the level all of this stuff. It was such a, like, even if you're not a fan of that music, you'll love it. You'll love this documentary, and then you'll actually, like me, you'll start downloading all. Their
music is for everybody. I call them the Rolling Stones of hip hop. Their music is, you can't not like their music, or the Beatles of hip hop. Like, their music is just that accessible, all ages. Tribe Called Quest. It was a pleasure doing it. The name of the film is Beats, Rhymes, and Life. The Travels of a Tribe Called Quest. It was and
everything's good. Everything's smoothed over. I know there was a little bit of drama there.
Everything is smooth. I mean, I think, you know, that was all because they are very protective and you know, they understand what the legacy of a Tribe Called Quest means to the fans. I do too. That's why I made the movie. I came at it as a fan. I love the group.
Well, I didn't know anything about them, and I didn't think it showed them in a bad way. It just made me want to download their stuff and respected them.
That's why I made the movie. That's why I made it. You know, it's fine.
I
mean, it wasn't the first time a documentary director got into it with the subjects of a documentary. It's not going to be the last time. I think at the end.
I think people freak out right before it comes out. You're like, oh my God, is this going to ruin me?
I understand.
Do you know Burt Reynolds? I heard before Boogie Nights came out. Like, freaked out.
Yeah, he walked out of a screening.
Yeah, maybe even fired his agent. He was just like, why did you put me in this piece of shit? Now it's like everybody loves it.
Trust me, if somebody was filming a documentary of my life and they were doing this segment, you think I'd want this segment and our celebrity ghost story thing to be? I'd be like, no, that can't make it into the fucking movie. So I understand. I understood because I thought about it a lot. I'd be like, how would you feel if somebody was making a doc that was beyond just me being the incredible, you know, highly achieved actor? Right. You know, and it became this personal thing. If they just didn't want to go into me as a highly achieved actor, right. No, I'm just playing. But you know, when it gets personal and you start to see like the intimacy and you see yourself in moments that you forgot about because they're being filmed, they're on screen. It's a vulnerable position. So that's all Absolutely. It was. And I made the movie out of love, and I think at the end of the day, they know that. And the movie's gone on to, you know, it's really like.
What else? You got anything you want to hype before we?
Nah, man. I mean, the only thing I want to hype is the New York Knicks. I want to hype the Giants, you know, starting to do their little midseason fumble. And, you know, we got a movie coming out in I think it's April 5th. The Heat, Sandra Bullock. Bill Burr is incredible in it. He's funny. He's good. He's got red hair and a red beard. No, there's going to be Bill Burr is going to be doing his thing in this movie. It's a funny movie. And all
right, dude. I'm really psyched that you came on this.
I'm glad to do it.
Definitely. We might have to have you on again to talk shit when the Patriots finally beat your ass in the fucking Super Bowl.
We
this
should
year.
do.
Listen, we got to go.
We'll do a Heat. We'll do a thing for the Heat that'll be after the football season. It'll be going into the playoffs of for basketball and baseball. Will just be starting. We'll do it.
I'm always a pessimist. I hate our defense. I hate our secondary for the Patriots. I think the best thing we have going for our secondary is our fucking running game because it keeps them off the goddamn field.
So you know your shit.
And I'm going to tell you this right now. Like I think we're going to lose to the Broncos in the playoffs.
Ooh.
I really do. Because
would that be the first round? That would they're not wild card, right?
No. We're no, Broncos are going to win their division, I
right.
think, and we're going to win ours. So maybe like second round. I just feel like I think because Belichick knows how to get into Peyton's head, but like. I just don't believe in our defense. And also, when we played the Broncos earlier this year, Peyton had only been with them for 60 days.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
Now he's going to be
something else.
Yeah, now he's gelling with them, and he's going to have another 120 days. He'd be like 200, 300 fucking days in, 240 days in or something.
He's something else.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm so glad that he came back because who would have wanted him to end?
I didn't even want. You know what I ended up realizing that I never really hated Peyton Manning. What I really fucking hated was the disrespect. That they weren't giving Brady his fucking due. It's a long fucking argument. And at the end of it, there's no way as a football fan you can't love that guy. But I think that their defense is good enough. With Brady and Belichick, he can never count us out.
That's going to be good.
That's going to be a brutal game. But
what about Gronkowski? Is he going to come back? I love Gronkowski, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know. What he break his foot?
I guarantee you he'll be there. I love him. I love Gronkowski. He's good. He reminds me of my
Brady
son.
Brady to Welker. If he caught that fucking ball, you're not wearing
what do you mean
Giants.
You're talking about that little loop that barely. Come on, man. Listen, you lost the game. We fucking cut your throats and blood spilled twice. First time it happened, you came back, you got surgery, rehabilitation, and then we slid them again.
You left us on lights before.
Yeah, you can't.
We got to play you
again.
We got to play you guys again. All right, Michael. Thank you so much for coming on, man. You're fucking awesome. I appreciate it. And that ghost story was fucking incredible.
That was really good.
That was incredible.